You have 1 new message and 12 old messages. Friday, 8:25 p.m.
Hi, I don't know who's in charge, but online says it's open till 9, so I'd appreciate somebody to pick up the goddamn fucking phone.
Hang on to shit. Yeah, they got like scruff that you can hang on to and whatnot, but like the best thing you can do is like if they're going to be a confrontation, like you're out at the park or whatever, like you keep a little extra like ability to yank them off. So guys, like think about it like when you're watching like mixed martial arts or whatever, like when does the guy tap out? When he gets like fucking choked or like puts in an uncomfortable position, and like the easiest way to just get your dog to tap out or like release or whatever is you just like kind of just give him that little bit of like right there, Fred, like. And yeah, it's like worked wonders. Like she's been like fairly obedient lately, and like I figured if she's up here fucking running around, like having that to just kind of be like and like keep her calm. But yeah, she's been like fucking surprisingly good. Like she was super good while I was at the doctor yesterday. Like even though it was only like 5 hours, which nothing. She does that in the crate standing on her head, but she's like.
Solitary confinement.
Yeah, I feel bad leaving a shelter dog like for excessive periods of time in a fucking like in a kennel. Like I don't know, it just makes me feel fucking like an asshole dog owner. But you got to do what you got to do.
One of Rocky's redeeming traits was we could leave him out in the crate, and he didn't really fuck anything up. Every now and then he would pull like a bacon wrapper out of the trash or something, but like he didn't like destroy the house or anything like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
She, I left her home alone one time, and I used to like, have a bunch of like a variety of like balls and like chew toys and stuff like that. They were all like kind of like round and whatnot.
Like your dog chewing your balls.
Come here, let's get my peanut butter out. Jesus. Yeah, like but like they get like stuck under shit. So I had a yardstick. And I left her out one night thinking like, yeah, what the fuck is she gonna do? Like she can't do anything. Everything was like closed and like put away and whatnot. Yeah, sure enough, she ate the yardstick.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like in like a million pieces, like all over the house, just like little yellow like shards of like yellow.
She's pooping it out for like 3 days.
She like did have a couple. Like she ate a pencil one time, and that was the worst.
Fuck.
Because like it was like it came through, and like you could see like the graphite or whatever in the middle, like it was like all chewed up, and like I don't even know where she would have gotten it, like because we don't have like pencils like just laying around.
Probably a fucking contractor's like flat pencil that got left
like,
behind somewhere in the grass or something.
Most likely, yeah. Like I didn't even think about that. That's true, yeah. Like she probably
all these amigos. They're like, dude, fuck this dog, dude. Here's a treat, stupid. Stop barking at me.
Stop off,
a lápiz.
I'm gonna give you a pesado, and then I'm gonna make it you fucking buy.
Yeah, I don't think you heard me. I was in the bathroom. You were like, I gotta love it. I got like an assortment of different workers here every time. And when I went by on my way home earlier, and your truck was pulled at the end of the driveway, and I thought it was you like about to leave.
So you flipped off an empty
truck.
Bro,
I rolled down the window. I'm hanging out the window, beeping the horn. Fuck you. There's cars coming by the other way, so they obviously assume I'm doing it to them. Tina's like mortified. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, look, it's Joe. And then the truck was empty, just flipping off a bunch of Mexicans for no reason.
Go back home!
Build the wall, you fucks! Like it was,
you better be back there building the wall.
My face was beat right after, because it's like he wasn't even there to like receive the bird. Like I was just flipping off a bunch of random people. Fucking good shit. That's pretty cool.
I mean, that's a good move. Like, you ever do that? Like,
every time me we see each other, it's like a contest of like who can give the finger first. Like I see the stickers and I'm just like, fuck you.
Well, you got me pretty bad the other day after we recorded, because I thought like I was like all hyped too, because there was this like I've been having fucking trouble at work, man. Like Avalon's fucking hot right now. Like, and there's like people that just
hot summer.
They just do not fucking care like about like what traffic lights are, or like any kind of fucking traffic laws, or like pedestrian cross. Like so. 3 days in a fucking row, I had like incidents on the street I work on. But the one that was the night that you got me was there was this lady who, her husband, and her friend, like, so it was like 2 ladies and a guy. I'm pulled up at 25th and Dune, so I'm facing Dune Drive, about to cross Dune to go to Ocean so that I can make a left onto Ocean and head out of town. These people see the light turn from yellow to red, so they can't cross. Continue walking. Watch the light turn green on my end. And mind you, like, I cheated a little bit. Like, I took my foot off the brake because it's, like, rolling when I get going. And they just, like, walk out into the intersection. And then, like, the husband and the wife just kind of are, like, oblivious to, like, that they're walking in front of a vehicle. And then the friend, like, just pulls them back and goes, no, you know what? Let him go. It's his turn. Let him go. And, like, I was, like, I had my window down. I was about to say something snarky to them. But, like, I just kind of gave them, like, because, like, by you being cunty, you're getting to the conclusion that you should be getting to, which is that pedestrians don't have the right of way when they have a fucking red light at an intersection. And
I stop for them at the regular ones. I'm against the rule, but like if I see them stepping out, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stop. Go ahead.
Same thing. Same.
But at a fucking green light, like you can step back. Like this is you literally don't have the right of way.
You have no fucking rights as a pedestrian. And then like a couple of nights later too, same intersection, same direction, same place. A kid came flying out of the wrong lane on a bicycle,
fucking e-bike,
and like I was like, you little fucking faggot jackass, quit behaving like a cocksucker. And he just like, like they're idiots. But yeah, then like
to be fair, that little area where the shop is like very busy. A lot of cars you can't really see. You're trying to pull out, like it's a shit show. Because I used to visit Tina at work there, and it's like trying to pull out of their office parking lot was like, it's like suicide in the summer because there's just people aren't stopping, cars are fucking coming everywhere. It's like a weird one-way U-turn fucking bullshit. Like
I don't get.
They have that divider down the middle, so it's like that adds some extra fucking confusion. Like it's a fucking. And then when you go down towards the north end of Avalon, where it gets all like kind of it just like splits apart in this weird fucking manner. Like I've been delivering down there on fucking Instacart, and like, what the fuck? Because I never really went all the way uptown. Like, yeah,
it gets weird. Like when you get up to like the they call it the seawall, but there's like a name for like that part of town where it's like the north end or whatever. They they like have like some like fucking weird. It's like Anglesey and Wildwood or whatever. How they want to like change North Wildwood to Anglesey, but it's like there is like a little district called Anglesey right there. It's like the same thing in Stone Harbor, but like they have like a bunch of streets that are numbered, but they only go for like a block, if not less, and like some of them are on like angles, so it's like a triangular shaped like block that like you don't like, because we've had to deliver like during COVID times and shit like that, and it was like
the main road just kind of veers right by all that shit though. You see it all to the right. I was talking about where like the shops end.
The little
looks
memorial.
Like it used to be a road, but then they the right side they just turned into like parking spaces or something, and now the road like goes to the left. But like when you're coming up on that for like the first time, you're like, what the fuck? Like I just follow the car in front of me. Like,
Shy, get down.
It's not that confusing. It just like it threw me off. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Like the road where it should have been road was just like now parking spaces, and then it just sharp left like. Then like it merged with a different street. It was weird.
It's also weird because there's a semicircle in there. So like if you need to go around the semicircle, there's a stop sign, but there's like a yield on like one end of it. And I forget like how exactly it works out, but it's like if you're ever like there and it's really busy, you kind of use that circle to your advantage. But people think because it's like a traffic circle or whatever, oh, nobody's gonna just like use this. Like so they just use it like a sidewalk half the time. You'll get like 3/4 around the circle, and you're like, yo, what the?
Family on bikes doing 2 miles an hour,
fucking just like lollygagging. Like we should go to Circle Pizza. Like I'm gonna fucking run you over, you dipshits. Like I think this year too, it's like the first year where I've really like given the like this early on, like I'm always like pretty fucking resentful, but this early on, like I gotta say it, like these, I cannot fucking wrap my head, I cannot fathom why people vacation here and pay $8,000 fucking dollars a week. We saw a fucking listing for 1/3 of a triplex. There's a top floor that somebody, it was like reduced price, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, $8,000 for a week. Is it on the beach? It's like a block from the beach. It's not like even an ocean view. It's just like on the beach block. And it's like, I don't get it. Like if this is
people who have disposable income.
If this is what you're working for though, even regardless of if you have the money, you don't have the money, it's like if this is what you work for this to be your leisure, you're a fucking retard. Like that's really what it is. Go somewhere nicer. Get a fucking place in Miami, get a place in like fucking North Carolina, and like
pretty sure we rented a house in Chincoteague on the water, on the bay side, but it was on the water with a boat slip, like we were like crabbing out the back door, like on the water, amazing views and shit, and it was like $2 or $3 grand for the week in the summertime.
Yeah, like
but it's not the same. Like this is a different but there's not like there is mansions in Chincoteague, but it's not like Ocean City or Avalon where it's just like mansions row as far as the eye can see. Like,
that's just that. Like the thing about Avalon is that it has this like fucking caveat with it where like if you're going there you want it to be the Hamptons, but it's not. It's a dirty fucking town. It always has been. Like Stone Harbor has been a filthy town from its inception. Avalon was a cow pasture like 100 years ago. Like it wasn't a place that people used to go.
I don't get filthy, like a filthy vibe from Avalon. Like filthy how? Like, okay, it's not like dirty like when you walk through Atlantic City and there's just trash everywhere.
Like all the people that were too poor to move into Wildwood back in the day used to move into Stone Harbor, and like my mom's side of the family, I'm not like, you know, gonna get too deep in the family secrets or anything here, but they were like not fucking like at all like they were broke when they got here from fucking Detroit. So like the cheapest thing they could find was like a 1-bedroom fucking like studio or something like that in Stone Harbor, and it was like my mom's cousin Bobby was like a school age kid, so they knew the school system was like all right, like so they got like a decent school system that wasn't Wildwood. You got like, you know, somewhat of like job opportunities, at least in like the summer, so like people could work and whatnot. So there was like everything that was like really like necessary, but it was just like dirt cheap. And then like 15 years ago, all these developers started being like, you know, we could
beachfront property.
We could really fucking like rake in if we start turning these like single family homes into triplexes, and then it's like it's been downhill ever since then. But it's like before like 96th Street was all built up like that. It was like the movie theater and like a couple of shops, and that was it. It wasn't like the fucking glitz and glamour fucking nonsense it is today.
I feel like the main attraction for everything down here is the beach, so that's why that those properties are worth so much anyway. That's the main selling point down here is people come for the beach.
Why? What is
because you don't have it.
But like, what
we take it for granted because it's a 10-minute drive for us. But like, if you live in the hills in PA and all there is like murky fucking ponds,
but you can like fucking get skin cancer next to a polluted body of water there. Why the beach? Like, why does it have to be the beach? I think it's
just because it's like something different. Like, it's just like you don't have regular access to it. Like, it's just it's a draw. Like, it's like I
don't get it.
Why does someone like us go? Where would you want to go on like a vacation? Like
Atlantic City.
Okay. Why?
Because I can play poker.
Why? You can play poker in your room.
You get a blowjob from a fucking hooker. You get a blowjob from my dog in my room.
I was supposed to go to Lake Harmony for a buddy's bachelor party we're talking about, and now the whole like there's a group chat of all the guys. I don't really know anyone except my buddies from like fucking not around here, so it's all his friends from where he's from, so I don't know any of them. But long story short, they fucking canceled the Poconos and now we're going to Atlantic City.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, what?
Bring me.
What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? Like,
nah, you just don't want to go to a strip club.
I feel like the groom would have been more stoked for the Poconos trip. Like, I feel like Atlantic City is just like a cop out for people down here. Like, it's just like fucking Atlantic City. Like, that's nothing special. It'll be fun for sure, but like that's just fucking lame. Like, that's not really any type of send off. It's just like
we're gonna go do the shit we usually do.
Just, like, literally, like
just more permissive.
That's just a lazy fucking like. I feel like they don't want to spend the money or something. It only would have been like $300 a head for this like nice ass house in the Poconos. It's just like, no, we're gonna go to AC on someone's comp fucking rooms because you're a D-gen. Like,
hell yeah.
Joe's like, yeah, it's my room actually.
No, this sounds like way better than like, what are you gonna go sweat in a cabin with a bunch of weirdos? Like, nah, fucking go hang out at Atlantic City.
The only like, I just meant for my friend that it's kind of like lame. It feels like a cop out. Like, it's just like you're supposed to give him this special fucking weekend. It's like, we'll get a room in AC. It's just like, I would be like, what the fuck? Like, y'all, you didn't even put any thought into this. Like,
okay, so like, let's say like you had the opportunity to like design a bachelor party like for yourself. Like, if you were going, like, what would you want to do then in that situation?
The
like,
Rusty Wallace racing experience.
Yeah, you want to go like drive cars really fast? Like, that's like
drive a fucking real NASCAR on track.
Do you want to do
like a few grand, but you can do them. They're coming to Dover in October. I get ads for it on Facebook now because I'm a NASCAR dork, and like the Rusty Wallace one, there's a couple different services where like you go, you pay a few $1,000s, you get to drive like 25, 50 laps on an actual NASCAR track. But the NASCAR experience merged with the Richard Petty experience. So like that's the main one, and like they govern their cars at 120 miles an hour. But like Rusty Wallace's selling point, it's like you do at least 160, and like someone's died doing this. Like, come on down. Like, someone did die in like 2007.
Okay,
fucking ran into a wall.
So that's what you would want to do? Like, do you want to do this?
It scares the shit out of me.
Oh, okay.
But like, it's one of those things that like I just, before I die, I don't know if it's bachelor party weekend, but like
before I ruin my life,
before I die, I don't like, I would just do what I'm comfortable. Even if I don't go 160, if I just buzz fucking 120 around the track, like that's fine. I just want to see what it feels like. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I think I would have more appreciation for the sport if I like went and did it once.
Yeah, like, totally. No,
so yeah, I want to do Dover, where I grew up going to the races in Delaware, and then like I think for my 40th birthday, I want to go to Daytona. They do it there. Just go around turn 4 like Dale, fucking send it into the wall, kill myself.
Do a flip.
Yeah, you can rent like a current gen NASCAR with like all the upgrades, and it'll do like 160 to 170. Like, scary, but
I would want to, if it was me, I would want to go to either that place in Vegas or that place in Texas, either or, but both of them have tanks you can drive. I think in the place in Texas,
I thought you meant the tracks, like Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm like, you're a very particular taste in NASCAR
no,
tracks.
they actually do. They do.
You race tanks around Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, well, you can like run over cars. I think in the Vegas.
That sounds awesome.
Like that's what I'm saying. But James and Paul went out. So shout out James. Shout out Paul. James just he's in the interview process for a new job today. Shout out. Good luck, buddy.
Man.
But yeah, he I don't know if it was a bachelor party or if it was just like a celebration for something. It might have been like Paul's graduation present or something. But they went out to that airport. It's like an airstrip, or like on Vegas's airstrip, but it's like the international airport. But they like have like a portion of it where it's just
touristy
like flat,
section,
where it's like flat, and like they have like a small circuit, and they'll just bring you out there with like souped up Ferraris and Lambos, and like all these exotic
that'd be cool.
cars.
Even just doing something like that would be fucking awesome.
And they put like roll cages and everything too, so it's like it's relatively safe for what you're doing, and you're only using like petrol power, like no Formula One or like exotic fucking fuels or anything that's getting like extra combustible. But like
you could totally die, but like just know your limits.
Yeah,
and, like, don't fucking flip the car.
This one is like you said, it was like a lot more mellow than he was even expecting. But you were doing like $125 like on a flat,
fast.
like that's fine.
No,
like it's like enough for me to be like, yeah, that's
go out
cool.
in your car and drive $125 and tell me you think it's slow.
I have that video of me and James doing 140 in the fucking Ford, and like I was like, hey,
that's gnarly.
It was on fucking back
I know.
there. Yeah,
that's the runway. That's where everyone goes to fucking
chest them
run
out.
their shit. And then there's just Mack trucks doing like 53. Like,
dropping fucking gravel all over the place.
And then you get to the end of the landing strip, and it's fucking all driveways. Yeah, there's like a one bump. I do it on the bike, and I get up to like 95.
Nice.
And like there's that one bump, and yeah, it's all driveways. And on a bike, it's even in a car, it's just extra sketch when you get to like being on the highway on a bike. It's not as sketchy as being somewhere where there's a possibility that someone can pull out. Like all it takes is one like grandpa pulling out in his F-150 that like thinks he has time, and you and fucking James are in the Fiesta doing $140 and just eat his fucking bumper. Yeah, Focus. That thing was sick. The fastest.
Fiesta.
What's the fastest you've driven?
Personally, like I got the Blazer shut down when I was younger at like 110. It was,
Yeah,
I think it was
I got the
overheating.
Camry up to 110, and it took like 7 miles to get there. Like I always thought it only did 100.
Yeah.
And then one day I was with Tyler, and I'm like, I think it'll do more. And he's like, dude, I've fucking seen enough. And I got it up to 110, and his face was like green. He was like, slow down. We're in like a 01 fucking Camry.
Did your shit like start not like locking up, but like your steering column was vibrating so violently that you're like, you kind of
like rev limiter things feel like it's rattling itself apart.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was like that was the Blazer. The Blazer's like whole fucking I think it's called like a dash manifold or whatever. The thing was vibrating so violently that I couldn't see that I was above 100 until like I actually like really like stomped it, and I saw it rev above 100. I'm like, all right, I'm done. And then like once I let it off, it was like the revs like slowed down a little bit, but like the shit was still shaking, but I could like it synced up, and I just like saw for a brief second that it was like 110, and then like it was like almost over the fucking line. But
I drove my buddy's BMW, and I got it up to 130, and it was still pulling. Like it probably would have done like $150, but it must have a governor, because it literally got to 130 and it started like dropping down to 127 and going back up. It was like an obvious rev limiter. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, they have a rev limiter.
It was sketchy. I was like,
the difference between like the Cobalts and the Cobalt Super Sports, from what I understand, at least the model year I had like the Old Man Tan one. The same year they had the SS one come out, and it did a flat against I forget, I think it was a Lamborghini or something like that. It was like a fucking like a Murcielago, or like one of the ones that's like meant to be like real wide and like go fast on a flat. The SS, because it's like so fucking light, just like smoked it, but it's got like
that thing had to be tuned and turboed and fucking racing engine.
They advertised the SS like that way, and like I didn't get the Cobalt because of that. I just got the Cobalt because I needed a car. But then like someone told me that, and I'm like, oh, like let me look into this. I fucking tried to like do like a flat, it gets up to 65 and just like, and like it's like, oh, that's disappointing. And then I like looked into it. It's like the SS has that ability, but you do have to go in there and override the fucking chip, put different firmware on the chip, and just like, good luck, your engine might blow up. You gotta like smoke
the computer to fucking
yeah, like there's like stuff that it's like you can really damage your engine by going that fast in a small car, like a 4-cylinder.
It's the
like,
dudes with the Honda Civics and the laptop on the passenger seat, just like tuning the car as they go.
I have seen that. Like that shit's been popping up on my fucking YouTube Shorts thing, and I was trying to figure out what the fuck they were doing. Is that what they're doing? They're tuning the engine as it drives.
Yeah, they override the stock computer.
Hey,
I guess
get over here.
I'm not sure exactly. They're controlling like the boost and the pressure or something like fucking. I don't really know. I'm not a car guy. I stink.
Get your toy.
Watch the wires. Get down.
Hey!
Get down. Get down. Get down.
Shy, get off him.
Let me pull the open water away from the equipment.
Shy,
Lay down.
yo, come on.
Shy Tooth Podcast.
Fucking all hyped up. I don't fucking understand it. Come on.
I was just worried about the wires because I know you'd have a
I know,
stroke.
yeah.
She doesn't bother me none. Like I like
know,
when dogs
it's
jump all over me.
It bothers me that she's fucking retarded every time she comes in here. And I can't like bring her to my dad's. Dude, I'm so fucking fed up with this fucking like my dad's got this fucking girlfriend. Oh shit, I can't even fucking talk about this stuff.
Cut.
No, I can't. I'm not going to. But it's just like he's got a fucking office, and like normally like I just bring her there and she'll chill, and she's like good. She just wants to chill at the office. Like she just wants to lay on the couch, and fucking do everything. But my dad's office is like full of crap right now. So she's like, if she goes there, she gets all like she gets into shit, and it's like I can't have her getting into like stuff that's not ours. So like I don't know,
Yeah.
It's just annoying. But anyway, like, dude, there was like another thing too about the fucking tank place that like was like one of those ones where I'm like I would want to fucking do this. Like it doesn't need to be a bachelor party. I just want to fucking do it. But you can go like wild boar hunting in Texas with a fucking Gatling
In a
gun.
helicopter.
It's like a helicopter. Like Ted
I think I've heard
Nugent.
about that on Rogan.
Yeah, Ted Nugent did it, and like him and Rogan are boys, and like Rogan and him were like doing fucking bow hunting out there. And Nugent's like, "Yeah, you want to fire up the fucking minigun?" And he's like, "Do I want to fire up the minigun? Hell yeah!" And, like they just go and hunt boars with a fucking minigun at night, like in night vision and shit like that. It looks like fucking insane. It looks really fun. Like
Yeah. I don't know what my ideal bachelor party though, because I feel like the NASCAR experience is like not everyone's gonna be like, yo, let me spend $3,000 to go drive a NASCAR with you. Like that's kind of a big ask. Like
I would. I mean, like that sounds like.
like no, you guys pay for me and then you watch and take cool Snapchat videos of me.
Yeah,
That's one of I think that's like my skydiving. Like I have no interest in jumping out of a plane, but like driving a car on a speedway doing like $160 or $150, like you can legit fucking harm yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
are you sure this isn't just like a cry for help? 'Cause, like,
no, I'm saying that's the part that makes it scary because like
yeah.
a guy has died doing it. And like, I mean, a NASCAR driver hasn't died since 2001, but I mean, tons. There's like, you can look up the crashes on YouTube. There's like dozens of fatal. Like, it's no, I don't know. Yeah, I guess this is a cry for help.
I don't know what. Like,
How does that make me feel?
No. Like, just your bachelor.
It's just been on my mind a lot lately. I keep wormholing on like I look up videos and reviews of it, and people being like, "Dude, it was fucking nuts." Like,
No, do
yeah,
it,
you know,
man. Just
yeah.
fucking do it. Like, don't fucking.
They come to Delaware in October, and I've been debating just pulling the trigger.
Yeah,
It's like $3,000 for like the best car you can get, like the fastest one, and you get to run like 50 laps, which is like an hour. Like,
word. We'll get
that'd
like
be
some
fucking-
big. We'll get some big magnets with BLACKTOOth on them, and we'll fucking sponsor them.
that'd be sick,
Dude,
Can I please
how
do
dope
this?
would that
I
be?
pay an extra couple $100 and just
Yeah, just pop like our sponsors on there, like just and,
It's
like.
probably just like a blank car. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, totally.
Or it probably says like Rusty Wallace Experience.
It would
on
be
the
funny
side.
if we get like a roof or like a hood magnet or whatever, just flies up, like obstruct your vision. And then
Someone dies.
Yeah, it goes
Kills
flying up.
you. You're behind me.
I'm in the grandstand. Somehow I die like
Decapitates
70th,
you.
70th row up. Like, Cheyenne, fucking roll. Hey, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. There. Come on.
That's my new wormhole though. Before it was I would get stoned at night and watch Jersey Devil stuff and get all freaked out and be like, the woods are scary. Now I'm like watching. I wasn't even scared, and then I saw like it was like Rusty Wallace driving experience death, and I'm like, oh wait, what?
Let me see this.
Yeah, and it was just this guy fucking dinging the wall, and I was like, ah.
It's like me looking up ISIS videos.
It was
before
like this
bed.
guy and his dad, and it was like the guy's like 30th birthday, and his dad bought it for him, and then his dad was like on the track with him and just watched him fucking Dale Earnhardt out.
Sweet.
That's gnarly.
I was like actually I meant to like bring this up 2 episodes or so ago, but what do you think about that Titan sub thing?
Didn't we go in depth about it?
we didn't. They did.
I think we made that same exact joke.
we might have broached on it, but there's new discoveries.
I haven't followed it since you know that shit was originally going on a couple weeks ago. Haven't kept up with anything. I think it was a bunch of billionaires faking their death. That's why I'm going staunch on that.
We went into that, and then I think it ended up turning into me saying like the Under the Silver Lake, which I dig it you still haven't seen yet.
I have it on the list.
Okay, word. But yeah,
the proverbial list that doesn't exist.
So there's like this thing that James sent me where he like follows this guy who's he's a boy with boys with James Cameron or whatever, and him and Cameron are like, yo,
I'm just getting a lighter. It's okay.
Cheyenne, relax.
I'm not leaving.
Cheyenne, relax. Come on. But yeah, like the
Diane loves company so much that she attacks you when you leave.
yeah, she like also fucking attacks you just in the yo. Come on, get over here, stupid.
She did like the excited dog like.
It's her favorite thing to do is bite Jay too when Jay's doing something like she's like
It wasn't like a bite. It was like the front teeth where they nip you. Yeah.
But yeah, so James sent me this thing where it's like an oceanographer guy who he goes like on as they call them submersible expeditions.
Go on.
Submersible expeditions. So it's not a submarine. It's like different than a submarine. It's a submersible. And it's like, I guess that's the distinction or something, because a submarine is like one solid whole, whereas like a submersible is like made from like a whole, but it's like many parts or something.
Yeah.
So the fucking
My wires all crossed.
my wires crossed, Joe Rogan. Yeah, the submersible guy is like, he's like an expert on like, you know, how these things work and like how the submersible communicates too with the ship that like it launches from. So they were able to get and intercept the messages or whatever that came from the crew on the ship communicating with the submersible. And the guy like does a really good charting of like where the depth is and like has like a map of like where the Titanic is, where the ship was, where the boat that it launched from was, like the whole 9 yards, like really like gives it like a good rundown and goes like minute by minute, like update by update as the transmissions from the submersible are going up to the ship and vice versa. So everything's time coded, everything is depth coded too, so you see just how deep they are according to the coordinates of the sub as well as what they're telling. So it's like the guy gives a pretty fucking crazy rundown, like where it's like, yeah, they were going down way faster than they were supposed to. You're supposed to go like 100 meters a minute or so, or 100 meters like an hour or something like that. So it's supposed to, like, I don't know if any of that's correct, like 250, 300, whatever the fuck it is. They're supposed to go like a certain amount of meters an hour so that the explosive decompression doesn't happen. You have enough time to acclimate to the pressure, even though the sub is pressurized. It's like the sub has to acclimate to the pressure as well as like all the stuff that's in there. So he's like, you have to go down at a certain speed. They're going at a certain speed, but it's way too fucking fast. And then they bottom out, and all these like fail safes start going off. And this guy was like, yeah, so what I think happened was they realized they were going way too fast. We're getting close to where they were supposed to be, tried to slow down, realized they couldn't slow down, and then put like emergency protocols into action, which stopped the sub. And then once the sub stopped, it wasn't able to continue like going both like down or up. So they put it into like this emergency thing that will make it slowly go back up. But it was going like 1/80th of the speed that it went down at. So like the sub's like getting all this pressure on it, and it's like all this like stuff is going wrong.
The guy driving it, he's like, "Don't worry, this is fine. We have protocols."
That's just it. It's like the guy like stopped the sub. They're communicating with the boat, but they keep saying everything's fine, everything is normal, except there's like a fucking
bring this thing back up,
a
fix
catastrophic energy, like a power failure or something, like on one of the engines because it was like running too hot, so it like burnt out the power source. So like they're running on like one engine or something like that. I forget what. Something went wrong where like it was enough that like this is usually where people die. So then 20 minutes go by, they ask for an update, they get an update, another 20 minutes go by, nothing happens. They conclude that between that 20-minute window of like...
Why were they only communicating every 20 minutes? Shouldn't have been like back and forth.
At that point, they were like rushing around in there trying to fucking fix shit. So it was like they'd ask a question and it would take 20 minutes for them to respond. And it was going on like that for about like, you know, like
That's
like an
fucking
hour.
weird. I couldn't give the guy a fucking headset. Like, what kind of mission control is this? Houston, we got a motherfucking problem.
It's all automated. Like it was like
They're
it
on
wasn't
fucking
like
Zoom. It's all blurred
no,
out.
it wasn't like a guy that's like typing shit in. It was like the sub itself has a computer with like an AI platform, so that it does diagnostics every like millisecond, and as it's running the diagnostics, it's reporting to the people up on the surface what's going wrong. So they ask it an inquiry, the AI answers. Like there's no direct communication, or they'd have to like override
Sounds
that.
easy to doctor.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, but like also the fucking so like the moral of this is that there's like that 20 minutes where there was like communication and then no communication, and then they determined that there was like a catastrophic hull failure, so the sub imploded. There's 20 minutes where those people were theoretically in there with no power, no fucking anything. And this guy is like, think about this. There is so much as a pinhole sized hole in the fucking, like, in the submersible anywhere. That pressure is so immense that it doesn't matter if it's like the hole is like the size of like a nail head, like, you know, a micro, whatever it is. That energized water is so high pressure that when it comes out, think of those like water jet channels
it
where
just
like
slices right through.
It'll fucking kill you. Like, and like what I'm thinking happened is it got like at an angle where people just started getting taken out, like
Collateral damage.
Yeah, like, and then like everything was just like, well, like we're fucked. We're not getting out of this. This is the end. And the thing just imploded and they just gave up. And like, I don't know how you fucking. I don't know.
At a certain point, there's probably nothing they can do.
Oh yeah, they
like,
just gotta accept it. Like, or if you like, also like think
I would
about
like
this.
To
like,
hope in that scenario they didn't even see it come. Like it just happened. It was just instant. Yeah, that's less scary than like being laser beamed to death
with
by
water.
Water.
They were showing too that laser.
And it's a straight beam, and you feel it go through you, and you're like, and it just slices you like in a circle,
like a lightsaber.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
It's like it's fucking crazy. Like.
Fuck that.
That's one of those ones where it's like you talk about riding 160 miles per hour in Bubba Wallace's fucking racing school or whatever. Like, it sounds like a preventable catastrophe or whatever to not do that, but it still sounds like fun. Going to the bottom of the ocean in a fucking sub that this guy built in his garage does not sound like like there's nothing about that is similar to the experience of like the joy.
And there's like preventable things like, you know, safety equipment, like you can wear the fucking neck brace thing so you don't fucking die of a skull fracture, like
fire retardant suit, you know, like shit, preventative, like, you know, measures.
You could totally still fuck yourself up, but I feel like I have a better chance of running 25 laps and living than going to see the Titanic. Like,
yeah, right. Like, I don't know.
I don't think like, yeah, they were rich, but I don't know. I wasn't. There's this camp of like, I don't know what you would call them. I don't want to be like of liberals, like of whatever, like of like edgy fucking just kids our age who hate rich people and being like fucking like they were just like, I don't know. People were like laughing that they died, and I'm like, like I didn't think it was like funny. Like it's just the whole thing gave me anxiety because I kept even now talking about it. Like I picture myself being in that fucking thing, and I'm like, like
I forget.
I know it was a complete choice, but like.
We just talked about this at work, but I completely forget the chick's name again. It's like something McNamara or something, but the chick that was in the Challenger space shuttle, like
the teacher,
yeah, and like
apparently that was an FF.
Yeah, that was a conspiracy. There was like
everything's a fucking conspiracy. Like it just gets exhausting to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna believe the official story and like, why even?
There is like a weird thing about like them, like there was I think like an insurance policy or something like that, like where they got paid out and they like had to destroy a rocket or something like that. Well, it was like, yeah.
My friend this morning sent me something. It was like NASA admits to like lying about space or something like that. It was
like space in general or like certain things.
I don't know where my phone is, but like about I guess going there, like being at the space station,
the ISS,
like the video of like the people in the space station, like you could see they're wearing like it was some guy like at Congress, and like apparently NASA like didn't dispute what he was saying, like they're using like green screens and like Hollywood techniques to like portray being at the ISS, and they're not even actually there. Well, not saying that there's not people there, but like,
well, there's like this thing that Rogan keeps bringing up because he was like a staunch moon landing denier, and then there was like, you know, like then he took a step back and was like, I think we went to the moon, but what I do understand is that a lot of the photos of us that were like used in the newspapers and whatnot were actually during training exercises that they just like doctored for propaganda purposes. Like they needed us to look like we were further along in progress because we were in the competition with the Russians. Now, the reason that they might be doing that with ISS is because the Chinese have been trying to go to the moon like lately. Like that's like their whole thing right now is that they're hung up that they want to compete with NASA and all of the private interests too, like Richard Branson and fucking Elon and like Bezos and everybody, that there's like this like new space race that's going on, and it's like not necessarily going to be government against government, but it's going to be kind of like government against private sector, and it's like this like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So like who's to say that if China throws like $500 million at Elon's not like, all right, I'll just, start doing my space launches in China. And like, or like, let's say Elon turns the tables on them. It's like, I'll give you $500 million if you make SpaceX an exclusively Chinese company and you let me like, make my fucking.
What's the race for though? Like, well, we've already been there. There's no race.
No, they want to go back. There's a lot of fucking shit about like.
Isn't it like the space tourism? That's
yeah.
the race,
space tourism on the private sector is the thing, but there's like ever since
couldn't fucking pay me to do that.
Space Force is created now a militaristic advantage to being in space because you have like certain things that you can do. There's intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, that you could shoot down from space. That if you have like a certain weapon system that's in low space orbit that doesn't necessitate like projectiles, it's more like concentrating energy and sound and like lasers using, from what I understand, the skipping effect from the atmosphere. You can like bounce ordnance over the atmosphere over like very long periods of space and then let it kind of like drop into an area. And it's like there's like reasons strategically why space like makes sense for the military to want to go there.
Yeah, because it's pretty fucking hard to shoot down.
Yeah, it's like also like a bigger space to like retreat to too. Because like like you're not just like on like one plane, you're in 360 degrees and like also there's no gravity, so like all of a sudden it's like the game is entirely changed.
Why can't we all just get along, man?
Well,
this podcast promotes world peace.
Well, that was the promise kind of the ISS. The ISS is one of those things where that in itself is like a sign of diplomacy, and the fact that you said that they're faking the ISS, it's like that's kind of fucked up because like that's supposed to be a place where scientists have mutually agreed from all over the world, Russia, China, Australia, New Zealand, like all India, all
peacefully
the places
do research.
They want to coexist and do research because they know that like doing stuff up there will further like research on Earth because you're getting things to behave differently in space than you are. So like the fact that people are faking that is fucked up. But I've also seen a whole bunch of people that are trying to dispel this one thing from the ISS where there's a guy with like a blue gridded screen behind him and like they're walking through mission control and the dude's like standing in front of this thing on a teleprompter screen, and then his image is different on a different screen in the background, and they're like, hey, look, they're CGIing it. It's like, actually no, that's a different angle. One is the live feed of the room and the other one is the news feed. They're two different cameras, two different resolutions, two different purposes. The one that they're using isn't for chroma key. The one with the green screen is for chroma key, but it's so that the news agencies can put things in there. The blue screen is an experiment thing. They use that to trace how, like, when you drop in and out of low space orbit, like you're in free fall and you need to be a certain distance away from Earth so that gravity will basically stay the same. And like the shuttle, the space station has to adjust as you go over time. So part of that is like seeing how fast gravity works in the ISS to determine how far away you have to go, because you don't want to float off into space, but you also don't want to crash to Earth. So like you got to stand there.
Fuck that.
I know, it's like one of those ones.
Landing on a plane is scary. Like,
dude,
just imagine free falling from outer space. Like,
you're in constant free fall. It's a state of constant free fall. Isaac Newton was the one that figured it out, and like his analogy is fucking flawless. It's like the Earth is a sphere, and you have a cannon on the top of that sphere. So that cannon is facing at a 180 degree plane outward. Now, you shoot that cannon with enough trajectory that it goes over the side of Earth, but gravity wants to bring it back. So it's going to fall, but because it's going in one direction, it's got this thing called escape velocity. And there's a certain amount of escape velocity you need to escape Earth's gravitational pull. Now, if that is greater than that for a long enough time that it doesn't slow down due to the friction of the atmosphere and everything, that you can actually breach the atmosphere, but it'll still have the gravity affecting it, and it'll stay in what's called low space orbit. So what they're basically doing is shooting themselves into space so that they could just never actually fall back to Earth. They're just staying far enough where they're free falling, but they're never actually falling back to Earth. And that's like the craziest concept. And the ISS has to spin to create artificial gravity, otherwise your bone density goes to shit. That's like a theory on like aliens too. The Anunnaki, like what the reason that humans accelerated so fast genetically and like evolutionarily. We accelerated because the longer you're in space, the lower your bone density and muscle mass gets, because gravity gives us what we need to like keep our heads up for our organs to work. It's like, you know, when you pull like a whale or whatever out of the ocean, it's not that like whales don't breathe oxygen, they do. It's just there's a certain amount of buoyancy that's necessitated for their organs to stay like functional. So like if it's out of the water too long, even you can put as much water on it as you need to. It needs to be in there for like all its organs to sit right. Otherwise, it just kind of like suffocates and drowns in its own like fluids. But yeah, like it's like think about that. Like when with us in space, it's like if there's no gravity affecting everything, your stomach acid is just floating freely. Your fucking urine in your bladder is just floating freely. It just like affects like things that your sperm.
Lay upside down.
Yeah, I gotta spin around real quick and jerk off. Like. Yeah, there's like all these fucking I know, right?
Nice treats floating through the air.
You accidentally shit my pants and there's just like a fudgy fucking meteorite floating around in ISS.
We were talking about like shit that's gone wrong on like amusement park rides last night, and
you
like
teener.
Yeah, like some kid died on the water slide in Ocean City and just like laid at the bottom of the pool for like 20 minutes. That's perfect. But no, there was one. It was some giant fucking roller coaster, and they were like on the loop, and they got stuck upside down for 12 hours. Dude, what the fuck?
Someone's like circulation got cut off and they died, or they just
no,
were
they were fine. Everyone
stuck.
lived. Was just like, yeah. Imagine the mental anguish of being upside down at like 500 feet in the air or whatever it is. Like,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
I would freak out. Like, I would fucking.
Who's the first one to pee their pants?
Me.
You? Okay.
Immediately. I have a small bladder as it is, dude. I would pee in like 3 hours.
That would be me immediately. I'd just be up there like, this sucks. I'm just gonna shit my
They had to like extract them or something
like what with like a cherry
fire
pepper?
engine. Yeah, something.
Cherry pepper is what I said.
Yeah, I don't know how they fucking, but it took like 12 hours apparently. Fuck that. Like,
yeah, fuck that, man. I wouldn't fucking.
I was literally talking about like doing fun stuff with the kid when he's older, and she was like, water parks freak me out. I remember that kid died on Shotgun Falls, and I was like, hell yeah, it's not fun anymore. Like,
yeah, man.
And then
remember
I
that
started
kid?
bugging out. Like,
remember that kid died at
someone died
fucking
on the roller coaster in
Wonderland.
Yeah.
The cars ran into each other, and the kid went forward and like whiplashed him so hard.
Dale Earnhardt him, dude.
Yeah,
basilar skull fracture.
Yeah, dude. Fucking
should have had the Hans device on him.
So there was
in the fire suit.
There was this kid that died at fucking, I want to say it was our Six Flags. It might have been like the Six Flags down in Maryland, I think, but one of them. It was one of those ones where your legs dangle like that, and this guy was walking because his like I say like kid, but I think he was like a teenager or something like that. But his hat fell off when he was going around the loop-de-loop, so he jumped a bunch of fences. And then there's this chick that was like, she's in her dangling thing, and he was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Gets his hat, looks up, there's this fucking car coming at him, and sure enough, this chick's leg, boom, just fucking decapitates the guy, and she breaks her foot too. So her foot's like dangling on there. She's freaking out because she's just like, she just created the pink mist out of this guy's fucking skull with her foot that's now like hanging on by a thread, and like she has to finish riding.
That was in Jersey. I remember that. It was a few years ago. It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a little while ago, but there was a Mr. Ballin on it. That's like apparently she like
a Mr. Ballin hat.
Mr. Ballin episode about it.
Oh, my bad. I thought he was. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that guy?
You sent me some of his stuff. I'm not like, haven't done a deep dive or anything, but I've watched a few videos.
He's good. He's got a real interesting story. He was a Navy SEAL and he got blown up, and like Jesus. I was like, that's fucking.
He was going for his hat under the.
Yeah, he was going for his hat under the
submarine.
This fucking explosive decompression blew him up. We blew out. Speaking of which, I watched American Sniper for the first time in like 7 years the other day.
Get down.
And that movie fucking blows.
Yeah,
that's a bad movie.
Me, Tyler, and Jan watched it, taking fucking bong hits, and I hated it. And Tyler was hyping it up, like he was like, "Dude, this is the shit, dude. Fuck yeah, dude." And I don't know. This was after my psychedelic meltdown. Like I was all fucking like hippied out, and I was just like, "This is fucking war propaganda, man." Like
it literally is.
Yeah, I thought it was gay, but like I was with buddies who were enjoying it, so like I didn't want to shit on it. I was just sat there like, "This is gay."
The thing that immediately took me out of it was that he's watching the 9/11 attacks happen, which happened from like 8:45 to like 9:30 in the morning, and it's like he's on the West Coast. He's supposed to be in Los Angeles, and for whatever reason, it's like middle of fucking day, and I'm like, it's like 6 a.m. out there. It's like September, so the days are like getting shorter too. So like it's like one of those dumb things that took me out of it. I'm like, this is it's like the first 10 minutes.
Continuance error or whatever it's called.
It's a continuity error. And I'm like, this is fucking retarded. And then like, aside from that, like in theaters, I remember noticing that. I remember like a couple of other things. Like there's this palm tree that's on fire, and you can tell that the palm tree's not on fire. It's a propane tank that they just have pitted up.
Shooting out of it.
So that they don't get in trouble with the Greens department, because they will freak out on you for doing that. But the dumbest part of that movie is that they conveniently just jump from his last tour of duty to him just being this family man in Texas, like doing the rehab thing with the gun range, which is fine. He's allowed to do that. I don't think there was anything wrong with him doing that. In fact, like it actually genuinely sucks that he was trying to help a fucking combat veteran with PTSD, and the dude spazzed and shot him. I think that's fucked up. And I mean, like, I will say my condolences to the Kyle family. Not that they fucking listen, but this is like...
They might.
This is one of those things where it's a very touchy subject. And it's like, I don't think that he was a bad dude for like any of the things that he had to do. Because when you're in the military, you're government property. You're meat. You are just... they give you a skill, and you have to do that skill to the best of your ability, which he fucking did. And he did it for his country, and he did it because he loved this country, and I fucking thank him for that. But when you come home and you claim that you go to New Orleans to go shoot looters, those are American citizens. Those are the people that while you were over there shooting bad guys, you were defending. Or at least that's the logic that you take. Yeah. And like I'll leave it at that. But like those are supposed to be the people, like they're disenfranchised, they're in a fucked up situation similar to the people that you were fighting against. And do you see those Haji, like, I mean, yeah, they're dropping bombs on themselves and shit because they're in an extreme situation, but you don't see them shooting each other just for fun. They're not fucking going over there because it's like they have this fucking chip on their shoulder. They had a purpose. Like, there's the guy that it's like supposed to be the juxtaposition of like how barbaric they are. You know, the guy with the drill or whatever that's like killing the family, you know, and then like they shoot the dad or whatever. Like, I get it. They're expressing the barbarism, and that like there are thugs that will fucking intimidate you into working for the bad guys. I understand that.
There's fucked up shit going on in every corner of the world.
But there's a difference between that guy intimidating people and you just taking up a sniper position to shoot black people. It's not fucking cool. And like they just glossed over that aspect. And I'm like, you can't tell the guy's like biography.
I feel like he 100% made it up. Totally. Just to like make his legend bigger, but like it didn't pan out how he had hoped. Like he had hoped people would be like, hell yeah,
fuck yeah, dude, running on operator. Like no, instead it's like, dude, you just shot like
you just Waco'd fucking I don't know enough about that, but what isn't the gist that like the government like had like some standoff and like bombed American citizens or something?
What, Waco?
Yeah,
we talked about that on here. There's actually it's like one of the early episodes. There's the picture that I used where it's the ATF and FBI snipers posing over the dead bodies of the kids after they burn them down. And the whole Waco incident... Yeah, right? Fucking massive Scooby snack. Yeah, the whole Waco incident, like, and this is an alleged thing, and I know the guy was there, but the guy at Ruby Ridge, that the sniper that shot the dude's wife while she was in the house, that's the same sniper was at Waco and apparently shot through the door at David Koresh.
Good shot. What do you want?
And he's like, both times he was told to stand down, not take the shot, and he did anyway. Oh yeah. Like he was like that, and that's like one of the things where it's like, well, he was at both locations, and like it's like, well, if this is like just a rogue gunman like that just has a uniform, that's not.
Was he not disciplined for the first one? Why was he in that position again?
Well, because so
another sniper.
Well, it was a whole thing where they have like the ATF was formed. And they were fucking up, and they needed like an incident to kind of organically happen where they did good so that they could justify being there. And instead of them organically having this incident, they just ended up doing like a routine. They were just surveilling the Branch Davidians. Like they were just surveilling them. They weren't really like, hey, we need to like prosecute these guys. But the ATF was like kind of on the ropes because they fucked up so bad at Ruby Ridge that like the FBI was like, hey, wait a minute, this is like a way of us being able to kind of like further our reach in our department by like having a proxy department. So we're going to send the ATF down there. So if we fuck up, it doesn't fall back on the FBI. But also if we do good and this is a successful operation, the ATF will get commended and praised, and they'll get more money and shit like that. So, but like what it ultimately turned into was these dudes dragging a bunch of cars around behind tanks and then burning the place down with kids inside. And the whole thing was a suspicion of automatic weapons, which I heard that the suspicion was that they were selling mock grenades, like, you know, those things that like every shop teacher ever has that's like a grenade and it says take one, you know, with like the number on the pin. Yeah, they were making those, and it's like you
the
could
hollowed out ones.
Yeah, you're allowed to make dummy grenades, like as long as it doesn't have explosive ordnance in it, you can sell it. It's just a fucking hunk of metal that
You
looks
can sell
like
real, like they sell like old World War II like hand grenades, and they just take the explosive.
They sell
take the charge
RPG
out of it.
tubes. Yeah, they sell RPG tubes. They're just like they don't have firing, like the firing mechanisms decommissioned. But it's like you can buy the tube, you can buy a law tube. Like you can go to gun shows and get them for like 200, 300
Call of
bucks.
Duty javelin.
Yeah. Like a javelin tube, like a spent one. Those are like I think like $1,200. But like it's like a.
We should get one just hanging up on the wall here.
I actually have that mortar. I might like fucking set it up in here.
Hell yeah.
But no, like the fucking it's one of those like. I like American Sniper because I think, like, as an American, we gotta do fucked up shit sometimes to get...
Hell yeah.
But, like...
Gotta get the oil somehow, dude.
Like...
My Ford ain't gonna fill itself, boy.
But, like, I think, like, just... There's, like, this, like, thing about that whole movie where it just doesn't sit right with me, where you're absolutely right. It's just, that's pure propaganda. Like, it's pure Clint Eastwood, just, like, if he could somehow turn an hour of just apple pie and a fucking American flag while Eagles, like, fucking... Wow! Like... If he could turn that into a film that would be palatable and people would actually go enjoy it, then that was what he would make. But he can't because he has to make like something to give it context. And Chris Kyle's
I feel like
that.
World War II movies, like we were like the good guys, and like that stuff's easy to make. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, Saving Private Ryan's war propaganda. Like no, it's just an awesome movie, like Band of Brothers, shit like that. But
I mean, you could argue kind of that Band of Brothers is inaccurate, but.
Yeah, not even just. I'm not saying historically. I'm just saying enjoyable to watch. Like not, but I feel like a lot of people feel like we shouldn't even have been over in Iraq and whatnot. It's just leaves totally. Like it's just like that's why it gets such a bad because it's like this guy's just fucking shooting women and children. Like I don't fucking know. But
have you ever seen that movie? Taxi
kind of the same thing with like
Side?
Vietnam. Like people just didn't even want to be there. Like so it wasn't like
Vietnam was a weird one. I've actually like I introduced Nick and Ian in the kitchen to shout out everybody over there. But I introduced those two to nice.
We lost Vietnam, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very badly.
Yeah.
But like I introduced them to the Shane Gillis and Louis C.K. talking about the presidents. And something about Vietnam that like you gotta like also remember is that before that was the first like time the media ever was able to directly broadcast war footage to people. Because like before that, Korean War, World War II, World War I even, it was all newsreel stuff that would get like, because it took so long to get like film, you know, shot and then sent home, developed, and like most of the time because you're shooting combat footage that's just shitty and like it doesn't work right, like it doesn't fit like the narrative of whatever you got, like there's just no use for it. So there's like all these archives of like footage that's like good footage that they just couldn't use because it's like, you know, people doing bad things and whatnot. So they were very selective with what they, you know, put out there, and it was all positive. It was all like to further the war effort, like buy war bonds, look at our boys go, shit like that. But then like Vietnam comes and it's like like one of the first major events that happened was like 1967 or 1968, I forget which. There was this massacre that this general went like just completely rogue, and he was supposed to take a village, find VC that were embedded in the village. In like, you know, it's where what the term search and destroy mission was, is like you search for the enemy and destroy their ordnance and get them away, separate the civilians, and then continue on and find where, you know, where they're funneling their weapons from. What they ended up doing was like raping and murdering like 100-something people in this village and then burning it down to try and hide the evidence, but a bunch of people lived and like got away. The guy that was, and like also like this was one of the times where like fragging was like addressed, like because people didn't really understand what like shooting your own men like, you know, would mean, like intentionally like killing a superior officer if he's like putting you in harm's way or whatever. And I forget if they actually
that's called fragging.
Yeah, fragging. Or
they meant like a frag grenade.
No,
like
no.
Just going into buildings and chucking grenades in.
No, like friendly fire or whatever. It was like in the field they call it fragging. So like fragging one of your dudes.
People were doing that?
Yeah. Oh, because like this situation.
Pat Tillman?
Yeah, like that. There was like a there was like this like I forget if it was like part of that or if it was like because of that, I forget what, but like people started in the field, like, you know, they would be like, I don't want to go on this deployment, like it's a suicide mission. They're like, well, fuck you, you're going. So yeah, like a couple of minutes out in the field or whatever, and then just like accidentally lob a fucking grenade or like some mortar fire into the fucking commanding officer's foxhole. Oh, well, it looks like we're not going on these missions anymore. Or, like, we're going stateside. Oh, and I'm traumatized. Dude, there's like a part of Platoon at the very end where the dude stabs himself in the fucking leg because he doesn't get wounded enough in the battle, and he just knows that, like, doing that, like, you know, at the end of the battle, you survived the bulk of it. You just gotta fucking do what you gotta do.
Get a bad enough injury to get fucking sent home.
But yeah, there was like that was like the first major event that happened in Vietnam was like this fucking massacre, and like people like, and they reported on it, and there's like color video of this like being transmitted to 100 million homes in the U.S. and it's just like, you know, some man today torched an entire VC village, and like people were like, what the fuck, this is what we're doing, like I don't want to do this. And then the opinion of the war shifted. But then, like, you know, with Iraq and everything, we'd been sort of desensitized to that. Like the war news cycle thing was like kind of amped up, and on top of that, we also had the first Iraq invasion in the 90s too. You weren't born yet. I remember being very, very young, and like kind of the tail end of that thing. Like
my dad was terrified when that was happening.
Dude, my mom was the same way. She
he
was
got
freaking
out of
out.
the Navy in '89, and he was like terrified that they were gonna like call him back to service. Not like draft, but like some type of thing where like you can be called back to service like during wartime or some shit. They kind of like
force you to re-enlist
because he was so recently out. Like he got out like less than a year before.
Yeah, like my mom,
his run in the Navy was like partying in Puerto Rico and Japan. Like
that's kind of funny that my boss down in New Orleans says his stint in the Army was the exact same way. He's like, they just invented this thing called the Nintendo 64. We had one, and we had it on our like.
They were near a cow field in Puerto Rico, and they would go pick psilocybin mushrooms off cow shit and like clean it off, and then sell it for bar money, and then eat like copious amounts of shrooms. Like he was just like on the beach in Puerto Rico, like frying nutsack. Like,
I wonder where you got
God bless America. Yeah, we have pretty similar paths. We both fucking totaled our first cars within like very short amount of time, showing off. He was doing donuts at the CV docks and flipped into the water and almost killed him and 3 of his friends.
Sweet.
They called him Crash his entire senior year.
Nice.
And me, I was drifting on a snow-covered street and just wrapped my shit around a pole. That was fucking not lit.
Sweet.
Yeah, if Gorms had been sitting on the driver's side, because I hit on like the drive, like in the middle behind me, but there was no one on the driver rear.
Right.
But had he been sitting there, like the whole side was caved in. Like I would have directly hit him. So yeah, I lucked out there. But yeah, I was doing like 40 sideways trying to like gymkhana a fucking neighborhood street in Northfield. And the worst part was like it like slowed down. Like I was just like knew I was out of control, and I was wheeling that thing, dude. I was really fucking trying. I was fucking going. I was on it. I was trying my heart out, but eventually I just locked up the brakes and just fucking braced for impact. And I turned it so like it hit not me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But, the worst part was slow-mo. I took out this lady's mailbox and it was like full of envelopes, and I just watched the mail like confetti across the yard.
That's a federal offense, son. Tampering with mailboxes.
And I wrapped it around the telephone pole in her front yard and like knocked out her power. And then she just like pulled up from work like before the cops got there, and she was like, "What the fuck? My fucking mailbox!" She was like cursing me out. And I'm like crying because like my grandparents just got me this car. Like I knew I was in trouble.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we had to call Coos down. I'm like, dude, I got like an eighth of weed in my book bag. Like, you got to take my book bag back to your house. Because it was on his street. Like, we were on our way to pick him up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's always
going to open hockey right after school. Fucking literally it was December. I got my license in November. Like, fucking.
I feel like I was such an innocent little kid because I like never did anything like that. Like, I trashed my fucking Blazer by accident. I like accidentally fucking
accidentally trashed it too.
Yeah, like I like that was the only major incident I had because like it wasn't even like a lie or anything. I just like I ran into, you know, at the
bulkhead, right?
Yeah, like at the fields or whatever. It was like it is jutted out at like a slight angle, and I just went in a little bit too far, and it punched in my fucking radiator. And my radiator. Yeah. I was just I literally like pulled up, was doing the speed limit, got in, paid my fucking little $5 because it was a beach day or whatever, and then parked. And then like the guy watched me do it and was like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just didn't realize that was like as far out as it was." And he was like, "Yeah, those things get like kind of move with like the pressure of the sand and like the tides and whatnot. Like they usually come back and like fit them into place, but they haven't done it in a while." Like gave me a whole reason why, and then like I was just like, "I'm my parents are gonna kill me. And like I tried to like hide it from them. I parked it like I parked here in a way where it was like that. And then like sure enough, my engine my car just wouldn't turn over the one day, and like my fucking shit was all seized up. And they're like, well, what happened here? And I'm like, well, the radiator I guess is cracked because I hit the bulkhead. And they're like, why didn't you tell us this? And like that was like the worst thing that happened. Like, but like Ed Hare. And like, well, not even like Ed Hare. Like Ed Hare.
Car accidents and Ed Hare is kind of a bad,
just kind of like
transition.
kind of a bad transition. I'm gonna throw Tyler.
Eddie Hare fucking flipped the shit.
No. Like Ed Hare one time flipped a fucking moped like in front of me, and like I watched him do it. He was like, "Yo, hop on the back." I'm like, "No, I'm not fucking getting
Christina's.
any." Oh yeah, we were at her house, and he was coming down the all the way from 9 down her street, hops the curve, like when you're on the bike and the fucking wheel goes too fast, and your shit locks up. Yeah. It locked up. He couldn't brake, and just fucking hits like sidewalk, goes ass over tea kettle over the handlebars, and the bike like landed on top.
Is he wearing a bucket?
No, absolutely not. And he's just like, we thought Ed died, or we thought we killed Ed, and then like sure enough, he just pops up. He's like, dude, that was great. I'm gonna do that again. We're like, no, don't get on that. Like Christina just like straight up locked him out of her house and like was like, you're not allowed to be here anymore tonight.
What happened to him is kind of scary. He was cruising along. Apparently, he was doing like 80, 90 miles an hour, 90. But which isn't crazy.
No, I mean, it's reasonable, but not when it's
90
icy.
This morning. Yeah, he hit some black ice, and then when he hit the asphalt, it just jerked and fucking made the car roll. That's scary.
So the ice was trying to steal his car.
Dude, when I wrecked my car and then the cops came, I was in a 25 mile an hour residential street, and I was just thinking about this now. And they're like, how fast were you going? And I was like 45, and they both were like 45. The street was completely covered in snow and ice, and it's 25, neighborhood street. I looked down and I was doing 45, but it was when I was sliding, my wheels were spinning, so I probably wasn't actually doing 45. I was probably sliding at like 25, but like I was just like, that's what the last number I saw, but it's because my wheels were literally just like fucking yeah.
Did the cops buy that or?
I didn't tell them. I just had this realization now. I'm like, oh, my wheels were spinning. That's because I didn't want to lie. So I thought the street was a 45 mile an hour. I was a very new driver. So I was just like, I was doing the speed limit 45. And they were like, 45? What the fuck? Like, should have been doing 10 miles an hour. And I was like, I
was trying to explain that to my mom.
I probably really wasn't doing 45 when I hit. I was probably doing like 25, 30 or something. Just lost control into a fucking pole.
I tried to explain to my mom how front wheel drive vehicles you need to like kind of power into turns too, and it's like not like always, but like sometimes when it's snow covered, it's like you need to like actually power into a turn. Because like I had the Cobalt was like fine. There was that snowstorm we got great in 2012. Dude, it was like
drive rules.
There was snow up to my fucking mirrors, and I was still fucking fine, like driving just around and
through.
Dude, just had him in a fucking blast in the fucking Cobalt, like just doing my thing. But like there was this time where my mom and I were driving my dad. My dad had a Passat wagon, and it was a front wheel drive. And we were doing something in the snow where we had to go down this guy's driveway and then back. Like the only way back was you had to back it up. And it was like that was where the snow was flat. And I was like, you cannot cut the wheel till you feel the back tires touch pavement. And then once you do that, rev, because that front's going to push your back up over so you don't get stuck. And she was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just going to do it my way. Sure enough, backs up straight, gets the thing fucking stuck. And then, like, I have to go out there. And she's trying to sit on the, like, telling me to sit on the back. And I'm like, no, it's the front, because the front's going to spin. You need to make contact with both tires. And she was like, no, sit on the back. So okay, fine.
Get run over.
Fucking sit on the back like 3 times. She's like, it's not moving. No shit. Go up there, sit on the front. Sure enough, pops right out. And I'm like, and then we're out now. And I'm like, okay, when you go up to this turn, when you stop, make sure there's nobody coming. But if you're going to stop like way short so that you can go into the turn, because otherwise you're going to slide out. She was like, no, goes up to the thing, stops, sure enough, skids out, almost fucking takes out a telephone pole. And I'm like, that's exactly why, but it's like, I just knew front wheel drive because that was what I had been driving at that point. And I'm like, and she was driving like an X3, which doesn't have to you don't have to worry about anything in that. It's an SUV with like 4-wheel drive, and it's like automatic. Like
you can still get loose with 4-wheel drive.
You can. It's
4-wheel drive almost gives you the sense of like confidence where you're like, yeah, I'm good, and then you can totally get you go like it's definitely better than anything in the snow, but like you feel like you can fucking go faster than you can. I've slid a little bit in four wheel in my Jeep that I wrecked.
I think that people need to stop like getting 4-wheel drive, or at least like, you know, independent rear suspension, and get like a fucking axle lock like they have on Wranglers, because that would get people unstuck way fucking better than having fucking independent rear suspension. Because then one tire's getting all the power, one tire's getting no power.
Yeah,
what you
one's
really
just
need,
spinning.
What you really need to do is get fucking axle lock and fucking just have the axle spin.
Then you hop out and you just do the thing on the wheel. Yeah, one of the public works truck had that on the beach.
They're fucking awesome. It's like I don't understand why more vehicles don't have. Probably because it's expensive to like be able to fucking have like an independent rear suspension that already works, and then that on top of it, it's just more fucking moving parts. But whatever.
I had one summer in public works where, for some reason, I got stuck on the beach like 3 times in 1 week, and one of it was after hours doing overtime, and they had to call a full time in. They would bring like a fucking front end loader and like pull you out. But yeah, that was fucking not a good run. I never really had issues with it, and then like 1 week, I don't know what the fuck happened. I just kept getting stuck. Like, it's because I would always put it in 4 low, and like I never had a problem. And then one time, this full time guy was like, "You gotta put it in 4 high," and I was like, "All right," and I did that, and then I got stuck like 3 days in a row, and I was like, "I'm going back to 4 low, you fucking dick sucker!" Like, made me look like it was. You looked like the biggest jerk off, because like even during hours, like you'd have to radio in and be like, "Hey, I'm stuck on 19th Street," and like the entire public works and like police station people hear you, and then like they got to pull a loader off a job and like drive down. There's like people on the beach, and you're just like stuck up to the fucking doors because you tried like hell to get it out, only to fucking dig yourself further. I'd be shoving, like I've gotten myself out, like rocking it, and like you gotta like keep turning the wheel, and it starts like hopping, and you're like, "Oh, I'm out, it's doing the hop," and it's like fucking digs itself out. But like we were shoving like pizza boxes and boogie boards under the tires and shit. Like I've gotten myself out too, but I've been with some sketchy ones driving on the beach where like a guy got one stuck like on the fucking shoreline as the tide was coming in, and like literally like the tide, like before the fucking machine got there, like the thing was like fully in the water, like up to the wheels.
Nice.
Like, dude,
you're one of those.
It was literally
memes.
like a brand new like 2017 truck that year, and like I was just like, dude, you're so fucked. Like I was just riding shotgun, and I was just like, you're a fucking dickhead, dude.
There was this one time when I was working on that Nick Cage movie down in I was in Louisiana. I was in Jackson, Louisiana, and there was the second day I was on the set. I'd worked. I don't know. Did I ever explain like the whole living situation thing down there with like the getting like the like I know I told about like getting the job, like because like I was like drinking, and then like they called me and I was like, oh, I got to drive like 2 hours drunk like to fucking a different part of Louisiana from New Orleans.
And how long did you have to stay there?
Like a week. So
where'd you crash?
What we got was when I got there, there was this place called the Lamppost Inn, and it was like the shittiest roadside motel, but it was only like $35 a night, and like they had complimentary breakfast. Easy fucking enough. Like I was super happy with that. I was so like, you know, like, okay, I'm cool with everything about this hotel. The only thing that fucking sucked about it was I get in there, I go to take a shower, and it's got one of those like shower heads where you can like lift the fucking head off and like spray your whole body like however you want. Thing was just not connected to the wall. I turned the water, the pressure from the water fucking knocked it off, and it fell right into my fucking head. So I had a cut on my face like that. Like, so I show up for my first day at work with a huge gash on my fucking nose. Then when I get there, they tell me I can't, like, we're art department, so art department's supposed to park with art department, which is near the art shed. You go to the art shed, nice, stupid. When you go to the art shed, you're supposed to like check in with a PA or whatever, and they'll tell you where to park if you don't know where you're going. Sure enough, PA tells me to go to the wrong way, and like I not only go the wrong way, but I get stuck on the side of this hill in the mud, and I can't reverse because the more I dig my wheels in, the further down the hill I go, where there's just like a river and fucking trees and shit where they're not going to get my fucking truck out. So I put it in park, leave it there for the entire fucking day, and then wait till the end of the day when all the fucking what are they called, Teamsters get there. And one of the Teamsters had like a bigger like a dually like F350 that he pulled my shit out with, and I just remember like he went through 3 different fucking winches before like he figured out how like to get the right concoction of tension and like fucking reverse and everything on me. It took so fucking long. It was like so fucking embarrassing, but like the mud was like literally up to my doors. Like it was like my front wheels were entirely fucking covered in mud. Like it was so fucking bad.
Fucked.
Such a fucked up situation. But then The best part was that there was a guy who was living on the fucking shoot. Like, he was just like there, like in a trailer living on the fucking shoot. And they lit, like, well, here's an ugly truth about fucking movies. Whenever they're done with stuff and they don't need it and there's no space for it, they just light it on fire. If you go to,
Really?
you go to like a movie set and you see like a gigantic pile of burnt shit, that's because they just didn't have room for something that someone else left there and they just needed to burn the old set. So, yeah, toxic paint.
Couldn't just get like a dumpster. Like,
yeah, it's because it's covered in like hazardous materials and chemicals and shit like that. So it's like easier to just fucking burn it because like then you don't have to worry about a hazmat fucking charge. So yeah, that's congratulations. The people that make your movies are destroying your environment. So enjoy that.
and aren't a lot of movies made down there now?
Oh, a lot of them. Yeah, I mean like they've been like ever since post Katrina because Katrina like they need to generate tax revenue. So a way of doing that was they solicited movie companies to like come down. They're like, we have a ton of warehouse space that's unoccupied because like all the companies that were storing shit here realized it's not pragmatic to do so. The environment as well as like everything got fucked up from Katrina. So it's like like when we shot Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, that was in a fucking old Pepsi refrigeration plant, and it was like 7 warehouses all connected together. So like you had access to like an entire campus of fucking warehouses, and like there was 3 different movies going on simultaneously in there, like, and everybody had their own section. Yeah, it was
Just make giant fucking film studios out of it.
Yeah, he shot the Josh shot the Expendables down in that same
How did they
plot.
make the lighting look like the outside? Like if they're filming like the
Sometimes just outside.
Okay, so like the set for the convenience store, was that like outside?
The set for the convenience store in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was actually outside. We built the exterior for the convenience store. It was a dry cleaner that we just built, like the prop and carpenters.
wall.
They put up Luan. What's she chilling on? Hey, what are you chilling on? Oh, nothing. I'm thinking nothing.
There's a little piece of plastic over there.
Oh. Don't you be eating plastic, stupid. Don't you be eating plastic. But anyway, the fucking carpentry team made the made like an exterior, and we just put it in front of a real building, and then they did all the interior shots elsewhere out in LA and whatnot. But we went out there. I fucking was up on the roof making the fucking shit like painted to make it look like it was stucco, like it was in Jersey and whatnot. It was neat, like it was pretty cool. But yeah, like what was your question about lighting? Like why? What does that pertain to? Like did you?
No,
see
I was
anything?
just curious. Like if I thought everything was filmed inside the warehouse. So I'm like, your film knowledge. How do they make inside look like outside? Like natural lighting to make it.
Okay,
which I'm sure that they are able to accomplish.
They absolutely do that. Like it's easier to replicate like light outside. Like let's say we wanted to make this set, but outside it would be easier to do that with like natural lighting. But you can also replicate it in a studio where you just like you make these walls what they call wild, so they break apart. You can move them and whatnot. You move them so that they look like where they are, but a little bit away from like the actual physical parameters of where the studio is, and just shoot hard lighting outside and put like a matte painting or like a backdrop that looks like outside, and then just like having it at an angle where it looks like just out of focus enough where it's believable. That's how you do it.
Right on.
Yeah. It's all fucking smoke and mirrors, man. Like everything you see in fucking Hollywood's fucking just, it's all an illusion. That's why like I don't like people getting so invested in like celebrities and like what celebrities are doing, like all that gossip and shit. Like it's miss me with that shit, man. I don't need it. It's like I would rather.
I couldn't give a fuck less about that stuff.
One of the things that really
Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson broke up. Like,
who cares?
and that's old, but I mean, like, it's just like an example. Like, I'm just like,
no, I feel you.
Like that shit. Like Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore getting divorced. Like TMZ and all that. Like, could not give less of a fuck.
It's like I said, it's like the closest thing we have to royal watching. But yeah, one of those things that really does irk me about like that whole industry is that it's like it's such a pay to play thing. Like you gotta be like, there's an article I read in the fucking Herald about this guy from Cape May County who like he's making a movie that's going directly to Amazon, and I'm like, that sucks. Like that really, like as a filmmaker, that fucking sucks. Like I would not fucking accept that. Like I guess that like he wants to get his message or his like image or his idea or whatever out there, but like I'm sorry, dude, you fucked up somewhere where like your work is so under like or actualized or like under like represented that like people just felt like they could throw you the bare minimum to make this movie, and we're just gonna crap it out onto this shitty platform. I
think Amazon Prime Video or whatever it's called gets a lot of eyes though. Like I mean, versus what's the other option? He gets it to go into theaters or something.
Release it yourself and do the indie studio circuit. Like they have a fucking plethora of options that you could do. You could showcase it, which would be like expensive, but it wouldn't be that hard to like get like IFC theater in New York or like even like a local theater around here to play ball with that and just do a showcase of it for a week or 2 weeks or whatever.
He's probably not doing it for the money. He's probably doing it for the exposure.
That's exactly what he's doing it for, but it's a bullshit way. Like I think that's like a very bad way to approach like because you already have sold out before you've even gotten there. You've already sold out.
That's kind of happened with some comedians where they're not dropping on Netflix anymore. They're just doing it themselves and they're just dropping it on YouTube.
Yeah,
and like,
I think that's like
Shane did it. Ari did it. I think Schultz was the first one to kind of start that trend.
Did you see Legion of Skanks and like the Gas Digital Network are doing like a run of like I think it's like 6 or 7 comedians all doing 30-minute sets and they're just gonna release it on Gas Digital. It's gonna be for free, but like it's like you can watch like all the shit like through Gas Digital, but it's not going to get put on YouTube, which I think it's like kind of smart because it's like you still have a paywall, but it's not like a ridiculous paywall. It's like just like
so it's free as long as you subscribe to Gas Digital, or
yeah, it's like you just got to get on their mailing list and like create an account. And you can watch everything uncensored. There's just stuff.
Oh, you don't. It's not a pay-per-view thing.
It is a pay-per-view thing, but like there's some things that's pay on there, but for the most part, it's like you just got to like be a member, and then you're able to go on the site for free. And like they even give like free tickets to their shows and shit like that.
How
like,
much is membership?
No, it's. I mean, like it's free to create one, but I think it's like you just like if you
do like a Patreon style, like $5 a month or
something like that. Something like that. Where
how much does Kumia's cost?
It was like $60, I think, for the year. It's not bad.
Okay, yeah,
it's
like, not too bad.
Steve tried to talk me into it. He said it's worth it. And I was like, really? Is it? He's like, it's the only thing I watch, really. And I'm like, I could see that. It's got a good variety of shows.
I'd rather do that than watch Jim and Sam. Like
I
listened to Jim and Sam faithfully for like a year and like just fucking petered out.
I actually was like thinking about getting Ant's. I think I was thinking about getting the Compound just because of Ant, but the only other show I liked on that network was the fucking Crime Report with Pat Dixon, and then Pat Dixon punched Gino Visconti in the fucking face and he got fired. I'm like, you can't do that, but that's also I would have done the same thing. Gino Visconti sucks.
I just saw the clip of Shane at Barstool where they were having like a case race or something like that, and some Asian dude like tried to fight him,
to wrestle him or whatever.
Yeah, that was the most awkward fucking clip. And then Shane's like, "What are you doing, you fucking dumbass dude? I'm making sure you get fired. Like, you fucking nobody." He started getting like real mean at the end. He's like, "You can't fight guests. Like, how about you tell this guy not to fight a fucking guest on your fucking dumb show?" Like,
I do like that all the Barstool guys
has like a baseball helmet thing or something.
He's got
the Eagles helmet.
Yeah, he's got the Eagles face paint on, and then there's like this clip I have on my phone where it's like, wait, let me just pull it up because it is funny. I'm using a different.
He wasn't wrong, and the Asian dude was clearly super drunk. He was like hiccuping on the fucking mic and shit as I fucking slur my words.
Hiccuping.
Had a couple of drinky poos on the way over, but fucking, he's like, if are you giving gaff or we're wrestling right now? And Shane was like, what the fuck, like.
My dad watches YouTube and he thinks I have a problem, and I'm just shout out Phil. Dude.
That was a different one. He's like a cat.
I know. It was like the Halloween episode.
What did you say? My dad watches YouTube. He thinks I have a problem, but
my dad watches YouTube and he thinks I have a problem, and I'm just shout out Phil. Dude.
Now I'm getting what by my dad?
He's getting yelled at by my dad, but it's because he's talking about how everybody thinks he has a drinking problem, so he keeps going on case race, and everybody's like, "Yo, you're gonna die."
He had like 24 on the board when that fight happened with him and the Asian dude.
He won the first one. He did by like a fucking hour. Like they were like way out ahead. It was all because Shane was just fucking like just having a fucking blast.
That 24 beers is a lot of fucking.
We should
beers.
just do a case race for fun, me and you, because you don't drink, and I'll just have to get fucking blacked out over here.
Dude, I would lose. Back in the day, I don't know. 24 in one sitting is a lot. I used to crush like 16 to 18, but I would be shithoused. Or like, there's definitely times where I did like 20. But I don't know if maybe in like a 24-hour span, a whole fucking 24 pack. But he's doing it in like a few hours, like on a Joe Rogan episode. He just crushes a 24 pack. Like,
there was that like
that is a problem.
There was like that intro.
He's a big boy though. So.
Yeah, there's like that intro or whatever. He got like an intro to a stand-up comedy like appearance or something like that. It's like recently featured on the Joe Rogan Experience where he killed 18 beers. Shane Gillis. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then he like went and did a show that night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they kept drinking. Like,
I finally did listen to the Segura episode of Matt and Shane, and there was something that was funnier than the ketamine thing that you glossed over, and I want
What I missed?
I'm trying to remember it. There was like something Segura.
That whole episode was good.
That was a great episode. Segura told some story about himself that was just like so goddamn funny to me, and I forget.
I vaguely remember, but I've
It's like it was like a springboard off of that though. And I was like, why didn't Jake tell me this one? It was like it was after the ketamine part where Shane's just like, I did ketamine, I did not have fun, and like whatever.
I was in a fucking hotel lobby.
Yeah, like fuck, I don't know. I'll think of it.
We'll think of it. Yeah,
2 hours from now, but I got some fucking beef to bring up. I got a little bit of beef. I got a little beef.
Welcome to the beef segment. Sponsored by Beef.
All right, so
it's what's for dinner.
So
there's a NASCAR race called like the Beef. It's what's for dinner 300 or something like that. That's who sponsors that one every year.
It?
Like, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
The Beef. It's what's for dinner 300. Like, the fuck out of here.
I gotta
what's your beef?
Clear
buddy?
something up with like I felt like I was a little bit like unfounded on the Burt hate I was given the other day. Shine. Leave him big.
I was actually thinking about the other day. I'm like, I don't get that vibe about Leanne.
No, I gotta clarify. I guess I gotta clarify what it is. I don't know where you're not getting that vibe from Leanne, but Bert's talked like pretty extensively about how like Leanne has like kind of told him to make like good financial decisions and like make like
I think that means like don't blow his money.
No, but like she will like tell him to go do something. Like if he's like, yeah, I don't want to do this or like whatever, and she's like, yeah, but it's $25,000, and he's like, oh, that's a good point. Like, and he'll go do it.
I think it's more money than that.
No. Like it's. Like not like a like I'm being vague because I don't remember
but
what
she has
specifically.
A fair point. If it is $100,000 to go talk for an hour, like he probably should go.
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
well, that's just it.
She's not wrong.
Like she's not wrong. I'm not saying she's wrong or anything. I am saying though, I think that she does have like a bit of an influence over him, like doing this. I want what I was getting at though with like the beef. Like the reason I have beef. So here's why I was like super fucking hard on Bert, and it's because he's like a guy who like. I understand his shtick is like he wants to be the young, youthful, fucking drunk college guy, party boy, like because that's what sells, and like that's what he embraces, and that's what it is.
It's not just that. I think that's genuinely who Bert is as a person. Like he's just a frat bro that like found his own lane, a way to make money, and exists in this space. And, like,
right. No, I'm not denying that one bit.
I think he's not faking the funk.
No, he's absolutely. Yeah. That's authentically who he is. I have no qualms with that or whatever. There's this part of like Two Bears because Two Bears is them this week, and I started listening to it, and it was like after listening to Louis C.K. and Shane Gillis, where Louis was like, "Do you need the money? Like, do you need the money? And, like, because like it really does like not." Like jam everything up, but it's like no, fuck that. Like I like I just am like I get it. Like when there's such like a over presence of marketing, and you are like the most LA guy ever. Like you're just the guy that's like you just want to tell everybody about who you know and what you're working on and how it's going and like what the next thing is and how much this costs and how long you're going on vacation for. It's like I just get that vibe from him, and then there's like such this overemphasis of like the marketing aspect where I'm like I don't feel like this is like authentic anymore, and it's like he could still be like the same person he is, or he could still be like whatever, but I think he's got like a mixture of like two kids that are living LA lifestyles, so he's got to keep up with the Joneses on that. He's got a wife who also has a career of her own, but she also like knows that greatly. I mean, she's got her own podcast and stuff like that.
That's
like
totally springboarded off of Bert.
But yeah, like it's like he's the nucleus that kind of like binds all that together. But like
she's really bringing in income on that. Is she doing ads and shit?
I mean, I think they are wife of the party or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a fucking gay name.
I know it's like a. Gay,
I love Bert.
It's a gay podcast.
I forgot we shit all over Bert last week. I love Bert, but
I love him too. It's just the fucking podcast aspect where like War Mode said it best. These aren't people that are friends with each other anymore. These are business partners. It's like what we do right here is like we just do this for fun and like we enjoy this. And I miss like not that like I don't see you ever, but it's like you got your kid and I got my job, and it's like we don't fucking cross paths organically the way we used to and just like hang out. This, I look forward to this. Yeah. I don't think they look forward to doing Two Bears, and it's like I got that vibe. From like,
I do.
I think they enjoy the conversation. I think they have fun with it.
I think Bert and Tom are legit buddies because they were friends before they had major success. Like,
I think they are. I think they're a bad example of that, but I do think that there is like more of a showbiz element to it than they're letting on, and like that's more where I'm like, I just don't. Like, I don't think that they need to do that. Like, not the podcast, but just like be funny.
When you said the Louis C.K. thing, where it's like, do you need the money? In what context was he saying that?
So, you know how Shane does like the, all right, we're switching over to the page. He was doing that bit, but like now when they do the switching over to the page thing, they do an ad read in the middle. So he was like about to do his ad read, and he's like, Louis like, do you need to? Because like they're in the middle of this fucking flow, and he's like, do you need to do that? And he's like, yes. Well, yeah. It's like I gotta pay. Like I got 3 of these things, and then Shane starts like nervously laughing. He's like, I'll give you the money, and like which automatically means that like Louis doesn't care about like the money of like or the situation. He just wants to like express the information.
Yeah, but it's easy for someone to say who's been at the highest of the highs with like probably $100 million in the fucking bank. Like
I don't think that's what it is. I think he just cares more about the authenticity and like the flow of things, whereas like Bert is more jammed up with like the I need to make money off this. I can't, like, every moment I'm awake I need to be generating income, and like it takes away from it from me. And like there's like I don't know. I don't know why I'm so hung up on it. I don't know why it bothers me the way it does, because like I don't think we're getting anywhere where we have to worry about this anytime soon. Like,
I just don't fully agree. Like I don't really get that. I know Bert's about making money and stuff, but I think Tom is too. Like Tom toured more than anyone this year. He did like 210 dates or something.
Not gonna lie, I fell asleep during a special.
I didn't watch it yet.
Sledgehammer. Yeah, it's all around, and I was like, this sounds like it'll be what I think it's gonna be, and then just fell asleep. I
haven't watched comedy in a while. Like live comedy is one thing. Watching a special, it's like it usually takes me 2 to 3 sittings to get through one. Like, yeah. And you're not really laughing out loud. But no, I don't know. I like Bert. Like I don't really have any of these qualms with him that you have. And I actually, like, sometimes he can be annoying, but like I like when he's just acting like a fucking dickhead on the podcast.
No, like that's what I want. That's what I want, though. That's what I want more of. I like that. It's like just there's like that the part that I mentioned last time where it's like I went to the thing and I texted Snoop Dogg, and then Snoop Dogg was like, let's do a thing together, and then
I think he's legit. I don't think that comes from a place of braggadocio. I think that comes from a place of like some dumb young kid in Florida that somehow like he's excited, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I think he's genuinely excited that like he's talking to Snoop, and I don't think he's doing it to be like I talked to Snoop Dogg. It's more like,
but then
there's the fucking Snoop Dogg.
But then there's like that other, you know, play the devil's advocate here. There's that other side where Tom and Bert both went on that little rant where they were like talking about watches, and then someone was like, yo, I like have to struggle to make rent every month or whatever. It's
and like, fuck you, don't be poor. I don't
care about your problems.
I was with them on that.
I am too, but like at the same fucking time, it's like you can't expect everybody to be like on that fucking wavelength with you. That's a stupid fuck. Like I don't think that everybody's on the wavelength we're on. As you fucking tell me all the time, people think like, can he have a normal conversation? I like think about that at work all the fucking time too. Like how I'm just like, yeah, like I don't think I'm like just equipped for like normal fucking like civilian normalcy.
Nah, you're a social butterfly.
I am, but like I say weird shit, and that's what gets me noticed. And like I think that's more like what my selling point is than trying to like fit in. But like I think like that trying so hard to fit. Yo, leave him alone. Yeah,
that's when the claws get me.
I think like that trying to fit in so hard thing really is what kills it for me, because like Bert's like he's this guy who I would want to be hanging out with and be friends with, but it's like I feel like he's just a fucking steamroller when he's like doing all the LA shit. Like I think if he was just like had like the whole premise too. Let me go back to Leanne too. The whole premise of that show that was on Netflix, The Cabin. You remember that one? The whole premise was that
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, but the whole premise was that Leanne says that he works too hard, but she still wanted him to make money off of him having a vacation. Like that was the whole joke of it, was like, you can go on vacation, but we need to do something. And like they were poking fun at like that, and like Leanne was the motivating factor because they keep like checking in with her and his dad and everything.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Bruce Jenner episode. The more I fall into,
I
felt that didn't feel organic or whatever. I know he did it for his dad, but it didn't feel fucking real. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, there was some hacky shit in there, but it was fun. Uncle Joey was on there.
Uncle Joey was great.
I kind of fell off with Uncle Joey. I don't really find myself listening to his solo podcast. I miss the aspect of him and Lee.
I was gonna say, do you see like Lee's like healthy again because he fucking stopped hanging
Yeah.
around Joey?
That was a funny bit.
Yeah, it was like a real funny.
Like that's the best thing that ever happened to him was stop hanging out with Joey Diaz. And they told stories about like how when he dosed
Yes,
Tom and he's like you're all better now. He's like, I was fine before this. He's like, nah, I saw the change in you. I had to fix you up.
Segura
He's like,
said,
you're good to go now.
Segura said he's like at Joey's studio. He's just like catatonic in the corner. He's like, "Are you okay?"
Like,
What the
mumbling
fuck
words.
are you giggling at?
Dude, the best was the Lee in outer space. The fucking, he's just literally like nodded out like. I've been very uncomfortably high. Even like 30 minutes ago when we fucking were finishing the blunt, I was like, my chest hurts right now. And I started getting like that, dude, like the feeling like you're going up a fucking roller coaster. But like eating like, it was her head bumping the table. Eating like 2,000 milligrams. I can't imagine trying to do like a live podcast while like edible high is different, dude. You go to some dark fucking depths. You know what I mean? You can come back from smoking weed within 30 minutes. You're like tip top Magoo, but the edibles, you overdo it, you're fucked. Like
There was something that I was really happy I wasn't high for yesterday, but it actually ended up being kind of a wholesome thing because I like went to the eye doctor and there was I smoked a bowl before I went to the eye doctor. And like, you know, but
terrible.
Like, but it was like up in Philly and like I had coffee and like I had time to sober up or whatever. So like I just kind of like
make the drive interesting.
Yeah, like so I get there too and I was just like, I'm gonna just nap until they call me. And sure enough, got like another 30 minutes. But like while I was in there, like there's a lot of people and I was about like 2/3 of the way done my appointment and like some fresh crop of people for the next wave of appointments start coming in. And they treat everybody here. And as for example, there was a guy that sat down next to my dad that was in prison shackles and a jumpsuit, and he sat down right next to my dad because he had to go see the eye doctor too. He had some shit going on with his eye, and so he had like a full fucking prison detail with him, like the guards and everything. Armed guards were like in there. But then there's like a 6-year-old kid who, like, if Louis J. Gomez was like his sister. It could have very well just been like female Lewis and this like little kid could have been baby James, but it was like this like fat Puerto Rican mom and her like, you know, little kid, and the poor little kid's got like the same eye shit going on with me, and like his eye is like all droopy and I could tell he's just like not having a good time.
Fuck.
And I'm like, I'm so happy I'm not high. But then he was doing something kind of cute. Made my day. He was playing hide and seek through this like glass cylinder thing, and like I got a bad eye, he's got a bad eye, so we're both kind of just like covering our eyes and fucking playing. It's like, what's up, kid? Like, you know, I see what you're doing. You're having fun. It was a good time, but like, yeah, the fucking I was really happy I was not uncomfortably high for that because I would just be like, oh, fuck. I'm gonna fix your eye, little man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just close the good one. See what happens.
Jesus Christ. Oh, wrong.
I mean, that's better. I prefer that one. Yeah.
No, this.
It only took you 5 tries.
Yeah, we're good. And we used to just be both like hitting that at random. It was like too close to both of us.
I remember like spilling water on it, and then some of the buttons didn't work for a couple days.
That's okay. Put it in rice.
What? Because it's Asian? Oh, fucking that, dude. I'm not funny right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I was wondering that after the last one. I was like, are we even being funny at all? Or are we just both like complaining?
We're just complaining. No, we're absolutely complaining. Now it's funny because we know we're fucking shitheads.
It was after I left last time, and I was like, I don't know if that. I had like a Shane Gillis moment. I was like, I don't think that was funny at all. Like, I stink. Why do I even do this?
Well, I was like thinking we need to like get like somebody in here consistently on third mic just to keep us on fucking topic. Because when we stay on topic, I found that we're better. But like, I don't know. This is our time. This is our little.
I think
fun.
all of them suck.
Fair enough.
You ever like? I don't know. It depends on what type of mood I'm in, but I'll put one on sometimes. I'm like, dude, I am fucking gay. Like, you just.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Yeah, you know.
Pride Month was last month, faggot.
Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. I had a friend. We'll just.
Why don't we talk about
a friend's grandparent?
Oh, never mind.
We were at this like dinner thing, and it was my buddy's grandpa, and he had a couple Kettle Ones. He was feeling himself, you know. He's on the couch, and he starts going in a very anti-trans rant about how it's mental illness and why are we propagating this, and like so he's going on and on. It's making people in the room uncomfortable. One person looks over at me and they're like, gotta go. Like, fucking.
Who was that?
It was another buddy, and
Was this a trans person?
no.
Oh, okay.
It was a totally cis het person.
Okay.
They were just like, heesh, doing like this boomer's going on a fucking rant. And whatever, he's egging everyone on, saying like, come on, it's a thing. And another person's like, well, it is classified as a mental illness, it's gender dysphoria, like it's in the DSM, blah blah blah. And then
Dick sucking manual.
yeah, I was like, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is a DSM? Like, do you know?
Yeah, it's the
Dick sucking manual.
It's the dick suck. The big book of dicks that you just drool all over.
Speaking of,
Yeah, I know, right? Fucking lovely. No, it's like the what they give like nurses and shit like that. It's like how you recognize like
which
fucking
like
shit
it
wrong
is
with you or
technically
whatever.
classified as that. I don't know why this guy was going on a rant. He's like, it's a fucking sick in the head. And then he was like, another thing. This Pride Month. What do they have to be proud about? He's like, especially the men. What they do is disgusting or something like that. And I'm having a ball. Like the person next to me was like, I gotta go, gotta get the fuck out of here. And I was just like, I don't know, I'm having a good time. I'm loving this.
What do you think about Pride Month? Like, please, let's break it down.
No, I didn't do that. He went on a rant and he was talking to the guy next to him and he's like, it's true. He was trying to like basically force the guy next to him to agree with him, and he was like, I'd say something, but I'd get fired from my job. Kind of like dodging the topic. Like, I don't really want to fucking talk about this at a fucking pizza party. And fucking, he's not letting up, and I go, it's an abomination. And I was trying to like go to like keep him keep him in the but I went too far, and he just kind of looked at me like, you're not on my side.
Now
like,
you're making fun of me.
Yeah, literally. And he just shut down completely. I was like, damn it, I went too far. I was I lit up. I'm like, this is the best. I live for boomers going on angry, hateful fucking rants, dude, because they mean it.
Yeah, well, I guess
how many speeches I got from my grandparents as kids, like, there's blacks and then there's ends. Like, there's good ones. And I'm sitting there like, can I just eat my mac and cheese? Like, what the fuck are we talking about right now?
We got into one the other day, and it's like I had a really good way of ending the conversation, but we were talking about like women naturally at work because it's turned into a fucking cat house up front. And it's a fucking like a fucking boys club in the back. So like every now and then, like the women of the restaurant will piss off the men of the Westmont.
Full ounces of flies.
4 ounces of flies. Turning into my old boss.
4 ounces of shrimp.
Yeah, so like they did something the one night. They like royally fucked over like the dishwasher or whatever, and like at the end of the night, it's just like he's just like, why are women like this? Why are women so bad like this? And then, like he's having trouble at home too, so like he's like going off,
feeling it on all angles. He's about to really MGTOW out.
Oh yeah, he's just like about like on the
ready, primed to take the red pill.
Cusp of snapping. But he's just like, and another thing too, like, because like they had to like bring everything back one by one. They couldn't just give it to him in like one shot. It was like it had to be like one by one. So he's like, these women suck at multitasking, and then like just quiet for a second. But it was this like real good opportune moment where it was like, I don't know, I beg to differ. I think they're pretty good at bleeding and whining at the same time. And everybody was like, whoa! Like that was
Were there women present or just all dudes?
No, it was all dudes,
bros?
but like they were within earshot. Like I know they probably heard it. Yeah, let's figure out who's.
Thanks for calling, Jay.
Hey, Jay, you're on the podcast.
I'm just checking to see how everything's going with the work in the backyard.
Work's going good. They got a big old hole dug and a skid steer doing its thing. So yeah, we're right on time. The fuck? You there? You there?
All right, I'll let you know. Enjoy your podcast.
All right.
We're just talking about women and how much they stink.
Well, it's if they bathe properly, they won't stink. It's when they don't.
Not the ones me and Joe like.
Easy.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have women that stink, it's because they're not washing their punani's.
Thanks for.
I like it with a little flavor to it. You know what I'm saying?
I work at a fish market. I hate that smell.
Oh.
Anyway,
all right. Love you, Jay.
To your podcast.
Well, I'm sorry. One more time.
I said I'm glad that I can contribute to your podcast.
Would you like to plug the business?
Which business?
Whichever one you'd like.
Besides seafood?
No. Would you like to plug one of your businesses?
He doesn't want to advertise that on this.
Okay, yeah,
this
fine.
Debauchery.
I prefer people not know.
All right, his number is 609.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right, his email address is joe. Okay, love you. right, love you.
We're not doing that. All right, goodbye.
Love
Have fun
you, Jay.
with the podcast. Bye.
See, I told you it's better with 3 people.
Yeah.
That my dad turns
That's
into
fucking great.
Stavros. No. It's log on to BLACKTOOTH PODCAST /Patreon or Patreon /BLACKTOOTH and use the code NI.
No.
No. But yeah, I got like
Let's see how much time we got left. I
like
haven't
20
looked at my
minutes.
phone at all. Not bad, not bad. I didn't want to feel rushed today, so I was
it's
glad we
nice.
could do it.
Yeah, I could also chop like half of this out too and make it like a reasonable episode. Like so,
Nah, just let it fly.
it's like 2 hours. Nobody's gonna listen to it.
That's the point.
It's like a third of
Or
the.
chop it into 2 episodes. Drop 2 this week.
Okay, we can
2
do that,
45-minute chunks.
Okay, we can do
I'll
that.
Photoshop a different color shirt on. They're gonna think it's a different day.
You think Photoshop is how you color correct?
Photoshop me like a
Photoshop.
no shirt.
I would love to. I would just take your shirt off for camera, and I'll just
No.
take
My
a screen.
saggy nipples.
I'm gonna take a screen grab of just you from the waist down, and just have your head floating.
Just me with my dick out.
I wouldn't mind.
Just fucking Teenus right now, dude.
Dude, you told me like a couple episodes ago that I said that Teenus was like a cool word, like because it's like it expresses exactly what it is, and you were like, "That's gay. That's a dumb word." Like, and
If I said that's gay, I was just doing like a Shane
no,
Gillis hack.
you actually said like because I remember when we,
I say Teenus all the time.
I said Teenus like a year ago, and you were like, "That's so gay," and I was like,
Oh, man, I wasn't into Matt and Shane yet.
yeah, like that was.
I'm just a Shane fucking kiss ass. I'm
you're
like,
a
everything he
fanboy.
does is hilarious. dude.
everything he does is hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like other comedians that I find their shticks like way funnier than like most of these guys, but I think it's just because they're like local. They're like it really hits home when like they fucking shout out like Wawa and like the Blue Route and shit
Or,
like
going down to Ocean City or
Yeah,
Wildwood
they're
and shit.
like War
that's
Mode,
our neck of the woods.
War Mode guys talk about going to the Princeton and fucking Avalon all the time, and it's like I want to just like go see if I can meet them one of these days, but that's so gay. Like I don't want to fucking go down there and be like, oh, listen to your
Matt and
podcast.
Shane got me through like the first 4 months when Vincent was a newborn.
Yeah.
I literally would just like just pop a fucking AirPod in and be listening to Matt and Shane, like just like zone out for a while. Like I listened, and I wasn't even listening to full eps. It was just all these like highlights. So I just got like all the 20-minute clips on YouTube where it's just like bangers. Like I was just
dude.
getting like the fucking cream of the crop, dude. It was awesome. Now I listen to the full eps too. And yeah. They were so important to me. They got me through a very difficult time. No, I listened to that a lot then. Opie and Anthony got me through being a trash man. I used to just listen to O&A like all day, just slinging fucking trash cans. Like you kind of just latch on to certain
Shows
podcasts or shows and just fucking get you through your mundane fucking your
It's
work
just
day.
it. It's like they always say like trap music or whatever is meant to be like repetitive because like you're supposed to be like at the trap like doing like bagging shit up and fucking like counting
Just
money and stuff.
head
So
bopping
it's
to the
just like
beat,
you're
just
just
like,
doing like
yeah,
that. But it's
yeah.
like I find podcasts to be more like that. Like I get in a rhythm better when I'm listening to someone else talk because you can like follow it, but you don't have to like think about like anything.
You go back and forth sometimes when you're really trying to like haul ass, you're just fucking you throw on some high paced music or whatever, and then like I don't know, I'll just be like, time to switch it up to a podcast, kind of fucking wind down a little bit, or not wind down, but like just fucking
I need to like focus a little
to
bit.
dial in, yeah, and just have something on in the background. I go back and forth. Sometimes I get like you listen to like 3 podcasts and you get bored and you're like, all right, I'll throw on a fucking album now and just kind of switch it up.
I actually like find that I'm going more towards like just comedy albums that I knew like when I was younger because like I used to have like a shitload of LimeWire like
That's like
comedy
comfort
albums.
food.
Yeah, it's exactly like the music thing for me though too because like sometimes I'll like listen to a podcast that's like nothing to do with comedy like I listen
Bert
to
talking about Hollywood and you're like, I fucking hate this shit.
yeah like I listen to
Holy fuck,
dude not cool. Anyway, I listened to a podcast that was this guy explaining why the Democratic Republic of the Congo is the worst country on earth, and it was like that was a really fucking cool podcast. Like like he wasn't doing it to be racist. It was like he was explaining why like their fiscal like government situation is like at this like very easy but like very like I don't know, just like shitty kind of like they've been getting fucked up by wars for so long that they've never had a stable form of government to kind of rest and reset. That they've been a slave colony country for like 600 years or something like that. And before they had like an organized form of government, like they had monarchies that would just tax like their biggest product was slaves, so they would tax slave owners because they weren't making slaves fast enough. And then like because they had this retarded system of like trying to earn money through like selling off their population, all like the colonialists, like the Belgians, the Dutch, the fucking English, like fucking Spanish, Portuguese, all of them came down to Africa and were just like, yeah, we're just gonna take over this shit. Like I think it was Belgium, and then ended up settling it like the most. But yeah, like the fucking like the country just basically has existed to suck, and like it has just existed to be exploited both by like other countries and its own people. And it's like, listen to that. I'm like, oh, I need a little bit of like optimism after listening to just like, okay, like one of the fun parts, one of the funnier parts, I would say, because it is a hilarious way of doing this, is that they have a workforce, and your workforce is like your taxes are like correlated with how much output you get. So like you put out more like grain or corn or whatever, your taxes are less. But if you put out like less to like compensate, they make you pay more. It's like kind of like the way that they balance it. And like also there's like money that's incorporated in there with slaves. But like let's say you were caught like trying to underpay, or you were caught trying to like fudge the numbers or something like that. The king would send one of his guards down to your farm, and he would figure out who was responsible for like the accounting or whatever, and he would just cut your hands off. But like it wasn't like this was just like a once in a while thing. They would do this like weekly, and like by the end of like a couple of years, every farm was like, yeah, we don't have people with hands to like work the fucking fields anymore. So like so they like kind of created a famine, and like it's like one of the factors that like why they got colonized.
There's a bunch of dudes with nubs walking around.
Yeah, there's
That's
like a
crazy.
there's like a photo of the school where it's like 80 fucking kids all
like
with just
Lego
nubs.
people, just like fucking
like
stems.
Yeah, like dude. So like there's it's just like Africa in general is fucking retarded in many reasons. Like South Africa is extra fucking retarded, but like there's other countries that
let's go with that. They're really racist there, right?
South Africa. Well, South Africa has a contingent.
Hey, boy,
of, they
call them.
No, they
like
have.
That.
They have a contingent of black people that think that South Africa exclusively belongs to black people. Like, doesn't matter what the skin color you have. Like, and there are white people that are there from colonialism, but then they also like during apartheid brought like other people in who were impartial to the apartheid parties, and were like, we just want to like they wanted to be like UNICEF, but like a direct for South Africans UNICEF, like stuff like that. And all the Africans were like, you white, we kill you, and just like, you know, like that's it. So the fucking, I forget, there's like a couple of factions of them, but yeah, there's like about to be a huge fucking civil war that is going to be in the next like 2 years there, because like all the blacks are pissed off. They have
aren't the white people there super racist, and they like treat them as like a servant class or something?
They don't treat them as a
portrayed in some fucking Disney movie I saw.
No, it's Blood Diamond. Like Blood Diamond is like that's about like so the country was Zimbabwe, but it used to be called Rhodesia. And Rhodesia was a white colonial state where it's like white people had preference. And then I think it was like going on simultaneously because it was like a part of South Africa, or like encompassed by South Africa. So like at one given time, white people were the ruling class over there. But that's like, I think like 40 years out now. Like it has not been that way in eons as far as they're concerned. And because of that, you get to watch the news from Zimbabwe, which is like they were so pissed off at the white people that like when the white people finally left and black people were able to take up this guy that's the president of Zimbabwe. His name's like Magooby or something like that. Magubu,
a comedy club in Baltimore.
Magooby. I'll be selling CDs in the parking lot. China, get your fucking moose out of there. But yeah, the guy Magupu or whatever, you can see the trajectory of this happening on the AP Newswire because it happened over the course of like 3 years. But the president declared it being illegal to be white. You weren't allowed to be white in the country. Like,
pretty cool.
He was just like, yeah, you're not allowed to be white. Like all the white people. So they kicked all the white people out. Well, guess what all the white people did? All the white people were the farmers in Zimbabwe, and they were already fed up enough with how like they weren't getting any cut of the social services because like they had pretty much designed it like post-apartheid to be like, oh, you guys are sticking around, we're gonna fuck you over. So yeah, like they like white people got like no government assistance. They had to grow their own food, which is why they were all the farmers. They had to like create like, you know, like community compounds. So like basically they would like band together in numbers.
Why were they sticking around? And
because they were
the apartheid?
Because they were born there. Like during the colonial era when there was the rush to carve up Africa. England and like Portugal and Spain and like all these other countries like just went in and just were like, you know, carpetbagging, just like staking claim and like this spot's ours now. So one of those spots was South Africa, but they created a white ethnocentric colonial state called Rhodesia, which I think it was just a country at that point, but they decided like, yep, that's ours. And then there was like South Africa is like part of it, or like it's like encompassing part of the area that Rhodesia was. So some of the white people from Rhodesia were also like had gone to like South Africa or like moved or emigrated or whatever, and we're now like there was a party called the Apartheid Party, which was able to gain control through voting, and they were white, you know, colonialists, but they were able to fix a lot of the problems by incarcerating a lot of the violent black offenders. Now, mind you, it's like not romanticized like that. There was a lot of fucking like unnecessary killing. There was this stuff called the Bush Wars that was like fought through like Rhodesia, but that's remember like that little clip of that movie Africa Blood and Guts? That was like back in the 60s, but that was like a part of it. And that was a different part of Africa where that was going on. But it was like shit like that where they were just like all the blacks were fed up that they were like, yeah, this is our land. We don't want white people here. And the white people were like, but like we were born here. We don't have like we're not English.
There's nowhere to home. Yeah.
This is our home. Like we don't know what to tell you. Like we're sorry, but like and then
we
just
didn't
like,
choose to move here. Like I'm third generation or whatever the fuck. Like, you know what I mean? That's a fair point.
Like, think about it like us. Like, we're like third, fourth, fifth generation Italians. And if they were like, well, go back to Italy. It's like, I was born in New Jersey. I don't know what to fucking tell you. I'm not going back to fucking Italy or Russia or whatever. Like,
I'm like maybe 20% Italian. I think the latest on Ancestry, it started as 12 and then they updated the results. I'm like 18% Italian. Okay. But I am third generation. Like, my grandmom's mom was born in Italy and came over, and like my mom's mom was like the first one born stateside.
Yeah. So like, but that's just it. It's like that would be the same thing as like them, where they're like, we were born here, we've been working here our whole lives, this is all we know, we're not leaving like our homeland just because you're pissed off that we're white. And like,
so yeah, it was not my choice to be born here. Like, yeah,
so like they end up like there's this huge Bush war. They end up like the popular party that ends up taking over is a black ethno-popularist party, and they changed Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. And I think there's another country that came out of it too. But
Zimbabwe Ridgeback.
Zimbabwe is run by this guy Mugabe or whatever.
Joseph Kony.
And he's no, he's not like a military guy. He's like just like a fucking leader. But like the whole fucking situation down there is fucked because when I was in college, this was before they kicked all the white people out too. This guy was like an ethnography student. He went down there to do like a documentary or whatever on these people in Zimbabwe that live in the specific area where they live on a lake, and the lake goes between 3 different countries. And he says like, yeah, reading the newspaper over there is fucking hilarious because like you'll read legitimate political parties like, you know, like our Democrats versus our Republicans. Let's just say like Biden and Trump are going at it in the press, and then out of nowhere Biden just goes, Trump was practicing witchcraft, and like then all of the Democrats go and lynch Trump. Like that's what happens over there.
That's fucking wild.
And like yeah, it's like like let's say the guy makes a poor financial decision. It's like a way of like dismissing that or putting it on the back burner. Is like President so and so was under a spell and like has been treated by the local witch doctor, and like it's like what like that's like published news. Like you can find.
It's pretty cool.
It's hilarious, but like yeah, so
they're like 200 years behind.
More than that, man. They're still using Roman bridges and shit, like in certain parts of Africa that they.
The fuck's a Roman bridge?
Like bridges that the Romans built, like
oh really?
Like 1,000, like 1,800 years ago.
What's that say about Italian ingenuity or whatever the fucking? How you doing?
Hey, brown don't crack. Black, however, don't know how to use the bridge. They go under it. Actually, there's a really funny one. It's like I think it's Sierra Leone or like somewhere in like northwest Africa. There's this Roman bridge that like it's so dilapidated, but it's still like the arches are like still there, that all the African kids just put like a bunch of ropes over there, and they made like a rope bridge that you crawl across, and it's like with just simple like bricks you could rebuild this thing.
Dude, fuck that. I've seen those like at scenic places where it's like 2 ropes and then one under you, and you kind of just like shuffle across it, dude. Fuck that.
We were talking about amusement parks earlier. I was like looking into amusement parks in China, and I don't think the Chinese have any comprehension of what like an American amusement park like entails, because it's like things are good here, like things are fine, and we go there to get like the blood going, the heart pumping and whatnot. Like you get a little adrenaline in your life. Like over in China, things are just so like catastrophically bad. like for your daily life. Like you could get hit by a driver, you could fall into a sinkhole, someone could drop a match down the wrong storm drain and like a methane explosion happens, a mudslide might happen, a building might collapse. You might just die of some random disease. You could get gored by a wild animal. Like there's all these fucking like random things that happen. Like escalators are fucking dangerous over there because there's no like building codes or whatever. So like they just build escalators to the best of their ability. They get eaten by them and like fucking dragged and shit. Like yeah, just fucking brutal.
Escalator's
man.
A gnarly way to go, dude. Holy,
so
the
like
fucking meat
dude,
grinder.
Thousands of hours, like hundreds of hours, thousands of videos of people on 4chan I've seen getting fucking eaten by escalators in China. It is fucking scary. Elevators.
One I always hear is that people just shit on the ground in like malls and shit.
Oh,
And
yeah,
there's like
spit
there's signs
everywhere,
like being like, please don't shit here.
Well, that's
like,
India. India is
China too.
No, India is like the capital. It is literally like the running joke is that the Indian flag, if you ever look at it, it has a sphincter on it because they shit everywhere so much.
Yeah, it's more of the rural people that shit in China. That's who the ones who are just will shit. They'll come to like the mall or whatever, and they'll just take a dump like on the floor because that's what they do at home. Like
okay. Well, in
That's
India,
crazy.
they have public bathrooms.
That is fucking insane.
There was a public initiative in India. I'm going to go back to China in a sec, but like, there's a public initiative in India where they wanted. So many people were shitting in just like the middle of the street that like the streets were like unwalkable and undrivable. So
like
they have
San Francisco.
Yeah, like worse than San Francisco. So they started putting public outdoor toilets in India, like on the sides of the street in these like high poopy areas, and the Indians started fucking worshiping in them instead of using them.
They ain't worshiping them.
Dude, I'll give you a second. Like,
they were like sitting on them like home.
no, like they would adorn them with flowers and like fucking wreaths, and then would like
Oh,
drink
the Holy Throne.
drink the water out of them and shit like that. It's
They gave us drinking water.
dude, like
You press this button and it fills up again. That makes sense though. India has like the highest H. pylori rate.
and HIV rate too.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I can remember to do it. Yeah, here's the picture. It's the first one. God damn it. It's that first picture right there. Like that's like a public toilet, and like they just like make it into a fucking shrine.
Does anyone poop there?
No, they won't let you use it. They worship these instead of fucking using them like toilets.
They
It's
probably
like
don't have access to running water. And like, dude, holy fuck. Dude.
yeah, like anyway. So back to China.
It's almost kind of sad.
I think the Chinese are just like so desensitized towards like death, and it's like just you get like a daily adrenaline dump just by like going out into the world and like like planes crashing and fucking
They're all
buildings
just hacking
collapsing.
darts.
They're
It's
just
just like,
like
I'm
there's
gonna
no
die anyway.
zero baseline quality of life.
Not
that-
for everyone.
most of them, like the bulk of China.
Jan's family owned like a factory. And, like, he was well off.
Jan's family is like 1/100%. Like they were the most densely populated country on earth, and they have the most poverty of any country on earth. Like the most extreme poverty of any country on earth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously a fucking dolt, and I'm not very well
So-
read. So, but my current impression of China is that like things are going great over there.
They're
like
in the
that
middle
it's
of
like
it.
they're in an economic boom time. Like
They're in a-
they're like one of the world economic leaders or something.
It's a bluff. They're in a technological boom, but their technology is shitty. Like you know how the joke is like, oh, it's just some Chinese garbage.
Yeah.
That is where the peak of their technology is. Like imagine like the tech
Junk.
boom going over here, but like yeah, it's like Huawei phones and like fucking shitty Temu fucking garbage. Like that's
even their high end stuff. It's still junk.
It's like
you can buy an expensive Chinese dirt bike, and it's still going to be a piece of shit.
TCLs
Like,
or whatever were originally made in China, and then I think they got like bought out by a Korean company, but they're still like made there. I think they're assembled in Korea or something like that. And then like all the Korean televisions are the ones like fucking Panasonic and like Sony's made in China, but like Sony is a U.S. corporation. It's just like everything is.
I thought they were Japanese.
They're Japanese from America over there. Like they're licensed in America. They are like an international company though. I don't know. It
They
might have been
produce in China.
I think it's incepted in Japan and like franchised over here. But yeah, they produce in China. So
And
like
where Microsoft Xbox is an American.
It's
thing, right?
It's an American company. I think everything that they do is made in Mexico though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
'Cause Bill Gates has like
All the hockey companies did that too. They used to be made in America or made in Canada, and it's all made in Mexico. Or so now I think sticks are even made in China.
Yeah.
But it was a big complaint, like made in fucking Mexico.
So yeah, like
What do they know about hockey? Like a bunch of racist fucking 16-year-olds when I played.
El Hockey.
Me included. I'm like, what the fuck? Mexican stick? I want the one made in Canada. It makes my shot harder.
Hell yeah, better wood. There's no drugs in this one. I don't like it. Dude, but yeah, like one of the things about China that trips me up is they have amusement parks in China, and it's not just like your run of the mill amusement parks where it's like a Ferris wheel or a merry-go-round or whatever. Like some of their amusement
You
parks,
just jump off a fake suicide net and like pretend.
Yes, like
No.
I'm not even kidding you. There's like this one fucking amusement park I saw where it's just like a ropes course that's built into the side of a mountain, and it's like most of it exists over this cliff, and like you get harnessed in like with like a carabiner and like a little fucking
actually high up.
yeah. Oh, we're talking like a couple thousand feet.
Ah, Jesus.
It's like on the side of this cliff face like / mountain thing. And it's like an obstacle course that goes out, and it's just like all free floating. So you're like hooked in with a harness and whatnot, and there's like a bungee cord that you're suspended from. But like if you slip, you fucking fall clean off it, and like your brain thinks you're just falling to your death. And like people are dropping their phones through the thing and jumping after them and whatnot. Like, I mean, it's like Chinese engineering. It can't be like fucking phenomenal. Like, but it's one of those ones where it's like that's their idea of an amusement park is like just dying
That's
slightly,
way scarier
dying
than
slightly
fucking roller coaster.
more. Like being slightly closer to death than just walking around there is just like, yeah, like come fucking hang out on this cliff. Like that's
We have that here though.
no, we have, but
In
that's
Vegas,
like that's like no,
the
that's like
stratosphere. You like hang off the side of this fucking.
that's got like safety and fucking like certain like.
They're harnessed in.
Well, actually, did you ever
People
hear
do it for a job here. The fucking
Yeah.
iron workers just walking around. Fuck that, dude.
I just spent a minute shitting on Bert, but like, did you hear that fucking story about the Chinese lady that like how they tested that fucking ride at the Stratosphere, the free fall one?
Refresh me.
Yeah,
I
he-
definitely think I did.
He was like, he was supposed to be the first guy that goes over on the Stratosphere, and he was on like recorded on it, but they had this lady that was just like a blackjack dealer that they pulled off the fucking casino floor. And we're like, yeah, we're going to send you over because we need to figure out like the weight testing and whatnot. And they didn't know. It was purely experimental, but they just kept like giving this lady $100. She'd go up, she'd jump off the side, they'd make an adjustment, then they give her another $100. She goes up, she jumps off the side again. And Bert's like,
You jump off?
it's like not like jump off like you do the ride, but it's
Yeah.
like they're honing in what the weight and everything is. And it's like this lady that just at any point, if they make the adjustment in the wrong direction, could just go splat. And Bert's like, yeah, they're just giving this lady $100 a pop to go take the ride, but like she could
Playing Russian roulette.
yeah, like that kind of shit. So like, I'm not gonna sit here.
Definitely illegal as fuck.
Oh, totally, dude. Like totally. Vegas is fucking like mobbed up to boot too. Like I'm surprised
Still?
there's not more ballards. Yeah. I'm surprised there's not more like building collapses out there like there was in Miami like a couple years ago. Like you remember that one that they were like, oh, it's like there was like an oversight or whatever, and like it was totally like either the government or mafia taking somebody out, like, and just happened to be like a building at Epstein server.
We had one here. That parking garage collapsed in like 2007 or
It was
something.
the
in
Tropicana, but like that wasn't a Teamster thing. That was like some that was actually a union. The union fucked up, and they were trying to blame it on
Didn't, like, 3 people die or
Yeah, a bunch of
something?
people got squished to death, man. Like, and I park in that garage all the fucking time. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was the union tried to blame like scabs or whatever on that. It turned out it was the union too. Like it was like a whole debacle. That was earlier than 2007.
There was a guy who passed. I think it was Sea Isle or somewhere, washing windows or doing something in the balcony. Fucking
collapsed.
It was like over this off season. Like
Where
almost-
in the Spinnaker?
Yeah, I think
Spinnaker.
so.
That's the place is like condemned too. Like it's not like a building that you can like rent anymore, from what I understand.
Really, I used to deliver there when I was doing Instacart last summer.
It's weird. It was like
so hard to find the people. I fucking hated going there.
that
Dude.
building is fucking strange, man.
So confusing, and like I would always the system wouldn't work, so it wouldn't buzz me in. They're like, I'm on the phone with like an old lady, and she's like, I'm buzzing you in, and I'm like, it's not fucking working. Like,
She's just fucking with you.
and she didn't want to come down. I'm just like, I'm making like $17 on this. Like, can we fucking wrap this shit up? Like
that that building was like built in like the 60s or something like that. And I always like it always creeped me out. But allegedly there's a pool in there somewhere, and like the pool was like if you could find out like how to get into the Spinnaker without a key, you could like allegedly like go up to the pool. And like it was like a spot, like it was like the spot, like it was like
people, like guests got to use it.
Well, yeah, it was like for the guests, it was like for the residents or whatever.
I thought it was like a secret pool. Like,
No, it's like it's like in one of the buildings. Both of them don't have one, but like there was this kid that I worked with, and then like it was confirmed to me by a couple of people I worked with who were like a little bit more like like edgesters. Like I was like 15, I didn't want to get in trouble or anything at that point. But these kids were like, "Yo, like if you go in through this one door and you go up this one staircase, you get to this elevator, you take the service elevator up to like the 15th floor, and then like on the 15th floor you go all the way down there. There's this unlocked door, and there's the pool back in there. But it's like you don't need a key to get into it. You just kind of go up. As long as you can get into like that elevator, you're able to go up to the pool floor. I was like, I always wanted to try it out. I just never was like ballsy enough, or never had a reason to. And I guess it's like gonna be too late now.
I'd rather just try and play like how I would try and get in is like wait by the door and be like. Try and pretend I'm like a helpless kid. Like, I forgot my key. My mom's not answering the phone. Like,
I think that it was before there was like where your key card for like the door or whatever was like also your key card for the elevator. But I think there was like a code or something that
you'd be like, I'm down here on vacation. Like, I forgot the code. My mom's not answering her phone or something.
No, like I don't think they gave it to everybody. Is what I mean. I think it was like an exclusive thing. Like this wasn't like just for every resident to use. It was like only certain.
The pool's exclusive.
Yeah, it was like certain residents.
So you had to go into the pool through a back door as well.
Yeah, you had to go. You had to go into the service elevator through a back door. And
so
that
you
was
just
how
came in through like a service door to the pool and like expected no one to.
No. Okay, service door to service elevator. Service elevator takes you to the floor the pool's on. From what I understand, the pool was just open. Like it was just you just couldn't. There was like a code if you use the main elevator or something like that you like had to do. This is like 15 years ago that I was trying to. I'm trying to remember. It's like there was like a whole bunch of other.
Did you ever get on the roof at Trop? Did we talk about this?
I never got on the roof of Trop. I know the guy that got kicked out of He's permanently banned from Hard Rock now too, and he's permanently banned from the Taj for getting up on the roof there.
Damn. Got up to both. I know Trop was one everyone used to hit. And I know this kid, James, did it. And he showed me like cell phone pictures of like his feet dangling over the side. And like they were up there smoking a blunt. I was like, I'm good. I'm going to hang out in the room and smoke a blunt and like just be chilling in the air conditioning. Like not fucking. I'm scared of heights. Like that does not sound enticing to me at all. Apparently it's really windy up there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Then
some of our other buddies, we had a room there and they tried to get up there with the kid James and like the door was locked or like they couldn't he like couldn't remember the secret fucking way to get up there. Like I don't even just going behind like trespassing doors without permission, that shit is like I don't want to fucking get yelled at. Like what the fuck are you doing back here? Like
well actually like there's this one thing that I really like about staying in this one tower at the Tropicana when I stay there. There's like this service exit that you can go down. It's only an exit, like, but it's like when you want to just go down, like you don't want to be bothered with like elevators or whatever. I always get one of the rooms in like the. Oh fuck this, man! My fucking body just failing on me. Like, yeah, right. So So like I always get a room in like the one tower just because I like doing this. I don't know why, but like you go like by like where it's like the emergency staircase or whatever. You go down this one staircase and it takes you like you go through the kitchen, like the back doors of like all the kitchens. Like you can like go to the a damn good sports bar's kitchen and like Rira or whatever the fuck it is now. Mm-hmm. And then you go down the next floor and it's like some of the kitchens for like Cuba Libre and like PF Chang's and shit. I'm good on that.
Me too.
But
I've been good, but I've just been like, is he gonna keep hitting it?
Might fucking slur my words.
I've been not one to hit the last 3 times, so I'm like, I want to see how far the Joe will go, dude.
But yeah, like you just and then it spits you out onto Pacific Avenue, and there's usually like some fucking bum or like tweaker or something that's just like, where the fuck did you come from? Like you just kind of like get spit right out onto there. I like it. I don't know why. It's just like a charming little feature that I know.
Secret fucking passageway.
I've never gone up, and I'm like thinking about when I take my little staycation after Labor Day. I'm thinking about staying at the Trop and seeing what I can get away with, like, or maybe like staying at a different.
You probably
hotel.
get up.
You probably can. Like it's not hard. Like
get up on the roof.
There's like
do a flip.
Yeah, it's like that's the plan.
End of a good summer.
Another one in the books.
Someone did it in like May at Trop, I think.
Oh yeah, someone jumped.
Yeah,
there was a Borgata death over the winter. Someone jumped off their parking garage. That's like a shitty parking garage to jump off too, because it's only like 3 stories.
That seems accessible.
It seems very accessible.
It's like 6.
It's like not that high.
It's pretty high.
It's high enough. It's high enough. I'll tell you that much. It's high enough.
I think it's like 10. I think
it's not.
It's that one's so weird because it's like
3 decks, but it's like it goes like boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
It feels like it goes up high.
Well, kind of. It's not. Low.
I went up in the stick shift Ranger, and my shit's just like going up these. I'm like, I'm gonna roll backwards, and it was like a Friday night. I was going to see like Crystalia or someone by myself, and fucking. I was just like waiting. I was new to stick shift too. I was like waiting to just roll back into the person behind me. Like, sweet. I don't like that fucking. No. That garage is weird. I like the swirly durly at the other ones, like Golden Nugget. Everybody I think has it
on the horn. You remember that after Bullies games, dude? Like, we used to
Just
be
going
coming out of the
nuts,
fucking
dude.
Caesars lot. Like, dude, the playoff victory at the fucking my dad had parking at like the underneath parking, but like there was like a
We
side
would
lot.
park in like the bus lot.
Yeah.
Actually in like the garage for Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah,
Just walk right in.
we had
Season
that.
ticket holders had that.
We had this like one that was like if you go through the side, like, all right, so you're facing Boardwalk Hall from the boardwalk, and you know there's like side part of the board. We would park in there. Like it was like that. It's like a convention hall, but like you just like it was preferential VIP parking.
just
My dad was a sponsor. Preferential VIP parking. You said
season ticket holders. Yeah, have access to this fucking.
You guys were in there too. I remember
Yeah,
like
all season ticket holders.
we were all the way up at like the front. Like we just like go out. We didn't even have to leave the fucking building.
No,
We
you
just,
walk
like,
out
right
this
in.
side hallway, like from the front entrance. You just go to the right, and like it would be in this garage, and like the away team's bus would be parked in there.
Yeah,
and shit. Yeah, no,
I
we
didn't
had
know you
parked
were in there too.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were in there, man. Like,
I
yeah,
literally just described it, and you were like, "Yeah," and we had this VIP. I'm
Well,
like,
we
I
were
just
like,
fucking said
no,
that.
we were like all the way up front, like all the fucking time. Like we would pull in, and like Luke Curtin's car would be there and shit like that. My dad like
We didn't
pointed
get
out.
there that early.
No, we weren't there like early. We were just like we would be there. Like there was like always a spot for us because we had this like my dad had like the
You
all
had
access.
the VIP in
Yeah,
the
like,
fucking season
we
ticket
had
holder
all
garage.
access passes and shit too. My dad used to give me that. I would go like hang out underneath the fucking stands and like the Boardwalk Bullies mascot, like Wooly.
No, I never got to do anything
He'd
like
be
that.
like he'd be chilling with his fucking hat, like his head off, and just be like, "Sup, kid?" Like,
That's pretty dope.
I mean, dude, there's a lot of places I got in there that I wasn't supposed to get into. Like I would, like they wouldn't let me run like wild or anything, but like I got all over.
We just went and watched the games, then we would play like mini hockey on the side and get chased around by this fat security lady, and she would the game to us was just fucking we'd tune out like half the fucking game. We'd be out there
Yeah.
just playing like mini hockey, and then we'd come back for like the last like 5 minutes and like watch the fucking I don't know what the fuck we were doing. Why wasn't I watching the game? I had so much fun just running around like drinking
That was
Pepsi and just being a kid.
Yeah, like I don't, one of my fondest memories of that was this one time me and Justin Stefano we were just trying to like see every bathroom that was in there, and then he would
you just go from end to end.
Yeah,
it's that
it's
nice
like a
big
big
horseshoe.
horseshoe.
It's fun, dude.
So like we started and like he was like, I need to take a shit. He took a shit in like one of the like really remote bathrooms. And I was like, there's like no security guards around here. I just like drop kicked the fucking door open and it hit him in the fucking face. I just remember him like holding his mouth laughing and then like me like laying on my back fucking like dying laughing like 'cause it's like just dumb kid shit. And like yeah, and then like I think like one time we tried to like clog a toilet or something like that just for the fun of it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, we never did that. I definitely explored every area we could go to, including the bathrooms. But we would play on like this side hallway where it was like a fucking next to a banquet room, and it was like this carpet area, and we'd just be over there just playing mini hockey. Or a lot of time we had this little foam puck, and we'd be playing like foot hockey. Like we didn't even have like little mini hockey sticks. We're just like basically soccer at this point. Like
Yeah,
I'm
you guys
playing
are
goalie,
gay.
and Timmy's just like.
And then instead of watching the professional athletes play, you guys are fucking
7
kicking a
years old.
fucking hockey puck.
We would definitely do it during the intermissions, but definitely sometimes during the games too. Just be running around, little spaz. He was like 6, I was 7. We're just fucking cruising around.
I remember like being
Our seats were on the glass too. Like we would reach up and be like the kids banging on the glass, and it wasn't real glass at that stadium. It was like plexiglass. Like you could get it like fucking bending and shit. Like it was the best.
You don't remember '90s hockey like fucking like you like I mean like because those were standard issue. I used to remember the flex that would come off because like when I went to see the fucking it was the Flyers. What was the fucking Legion of Doom? It was like Lindros fucking like all
I
those-
remember Lindros and Leclerc and all those seats,
like-
but I never went to a game until like 2000 fucking
Yeah,
four
this was
or
like
something.
'97. I think I was like
No, I
6
was
years.
4
I was
years
like
old.
6 years old at this point, and I went to this game, and I remember Lindros getting fucking drilled into the boards, and we were in the third row. The boards like flex because it's like you said, like it's like plexiglass. It's not like real fucking glass. It had a different sound to it too, where it wasn't like a.
It was an
thunk.
awesome sound,
It was like
yeah.
it was like a chink. Kind of like fucking like a fucking clinker, like a chink or something.
Yeah, you
like
hear
that.
shit rattling around.
Yeah,
and shit.
it was fucking weird. It didn't sound like the fucking.
Now you hear the glass make the same kind of noise, but it doesn't
Yeah, it's
have
like-
any give to it.
It's like tempered glass
Yeah.
or whatever. It's not the fucking same. I don't know. It doesn't have the same feel to it. Like I just remember fucking dudes getting lined up and going like inches into
You know
the
what's
fucking
crazy
glass.
is like the surface they play on like isn't that great.
What,
Like it's
ice?
like the highest level, and it's like not.
Ice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because it's a heated stadium and they like cool it from underneath. Like the ice is really soft. It's like a different. Everyone would talk about. We would play there once a year, and like other buddies have been playing. Kids on the same team I played on, like it's standard if you play hockey at Atlantic City Skate Zone, like one game a year you're gonna play up at Flyer Skate Zone. Like every team does it. You know what I mean? It's not like a special thing, but it's like, dude, because they set it up and tear it down so often and shit. Like it just feels cheap. Like it's weird. Like the bench is just like this weird like. It's not even like bolted in. It's just like they slide it in, or it's like everything's like real Lego, like modular feeling. Like it felt better skating in Atlantic City Skate Zone and more solid than like an NHL level. But it's because they're constantly. It's got to be like light and like movable and like able to like tear down within 3 fucking hours.
I actually have a little bit to say on this, and then we gotta go. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta
fucking take a piss. Yeah, I gotta use her.
But there's this really cool documentary, and if I can find it, I'll send it to you. But it's on Madison Square Gardens, like the Teamsters, like all the dudes that break down and like build all the fucking sets and whatnot. And there's like a phenomenal explanation of like how hard it is to make a hockey rink out of like a stadium that has multi-use, and like they were saying how like 50% if not more of the time they'll get there the day that they're supposed to have a hockey game and the temperature is just completely out of whack, and they're like up until almost
soup.
like they're like up until almost warm-ups, like putting like fucking saline or whatever into the lines underneath it because it needs like more salt for it to get colder like faster, and like it's like a whole process of just like flooding these lines and then like, you know, draining them and then like flooding them again and then like just letting the saline cool, and then like all the fucking stuff that like is supposed to work, it's just way too hot for it to actually like make ice, and they're under the gun, and then like it gets frozen. Finally, they can breathe for a second. And then as soon as the hockey game's done, they need to like change out all those lines again and get flooring down because Metallica's playing, and they need to build the stage in 2 hours. Yeah. Like, and it's like, it's fucking nuts. Like, it's like a crazy, like they're like,
and they make ice in like open air stadiums when it's not super cold sometimes, like the Winter Classics and stuff like that. Like they can, and the things they can do, it's pretty impressive. Like,
it is, like, it's really neat. Like, it is a fucking neat thing. It's just like, if you're gonna do multi-use, I've always heard that like the quality of everything kind of suffers, and like that's, I guess, the point I was making. But
yeah.
All right, what do you got to plug?
Stewart's Handyman Service. Give him a call. He'll work on your house, and go fuck yourself. No, give Stu a call, 338-9427. He'll fix your shit.
Yeah, Oceanside Seafood, 25th and Dune. If you don't mind, please keep it to the menu, you dumb fucks. If you don't fucking mind,
don't go there.
Yeah, don't bother.
The place stinks.
Thanks for listening. Go fuck yourself.
Bye.